Uh, I've asked the question before, and I'll ask the question again now. Although I don't really need to answer to ask for an answer from you, because the answer for me is right now. When's it acceptable? And I think this is probably more an apropos question for professional sports leagues, specifically the National Football League. When is it okay? Because there is a time where it becomes okay. When is it okay to start rooting against your team? When's it okay for you to say, you know what? I hope we lose. I hope we lose. I hope we lose. Because the answer for me was halftime of last night. I'm over it. I'm done. It's not fun anymore. Like, and I know that sounds spoiled and entitled. And if this was, a team that was 6-2 and lost back-to-back games and their fans did this, you'd be like, shut up. If Lonzo came in here and the Chiefs were 6-2 and lost some games and went, I don't have fun watching the Chiefs anymore, we'd all go, shut up.
They're going to lose some games this year, so it's going to happen.
Sure, yeah. But there better not be a point where a fan of the back-to-back Super Bowl champs comes in and goes, football's not fun.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Right, because you're not that guy. Football's not fun for me last night. It's not fun for me. A 5-game losing streak, getting embarrassed in all of this, not fun for me anymore. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown, the great one Lonzo on the ones and twos. Great to have you as we celebrate a Friday. Got to get down on Friday.
It's weird. This has been a long week. I don't know why.
You're right. It has been a long week.
I was thinking that driving in this morning, it's like, I usually don't say this, but it's finally Friday. And that's just not something that I normally think, but it's like, it's finally Friday.
A long week.
It's because it got cold. I think it's part of it.
A long week got dramatically longer for me last night.
I got to admit, I started watching it and it was so bad. I'm like, you know what? I can't.
I'm just
turning this off.
It was so bad. Great one. So Doug Irwin is the CBO of the Greenville Triumph, and he's also a friend of mine, big Broncos guy. And so we planned out like a week ago.
Doesn't that figure?
Right. Big friend of mine off the show and a Broncos guy. And for like a week and a half ago, I texted him. I'm like, yo, you and your lady friend, me and mine, let's hit the bar and grill next Thursday and watch a little Saints Broncos. What do you say? And he's like, yep, sounds great. And the text messages betwixt the two of us discussing last night's contest going into last night's contest were two dudes both refusing to say, my team will beat your team. Both of us were like, oh, this is going to be embarrassing. It's going to be atrocious. We get to halftime of that game. Doug's like, this isn't fun for you, is it? No. It's very, very not fun. The fact that I took time out of my day to go watch that Booty Cheeks performance.
I felt like an idiot.
Unbelievable, dude. And here, you know what? I ordinarily don't jump in this fast with this. Let me go ahead and play you the audio from halftime from Amazon Prime, Al Michaels and Herbie, as they dial in on the last 16 seconds of this game. Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Hang on. I got to switch the channel over because Rob's a big dum-dum.
Well, I understand because, the first thing played, so you just automatically think the next thing's going to play.
Yeah, that's on me. Here's Al and Herbie as we approach halftime.
A segment or two in the booth in the third quarter. Meanwhile, under pressure, and that's the way this half is going to end in all likelihood, but they're going to take another timeout, I guess. All right.
Timeout.
For what practical purpose? You tell me.
Third final of the half. Again,
I don't know.
30 seconds.
Even your stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff you is hard.
You're excited for what's going on behind this wall right here at halftime. You hungry?
It depends. I got to see what
See
the
what's
spread,
on the menu.
what the spread is tonight. Are we going Cajun or Creole?
It's a great town for food.
Sure. Punt, fumble, punt, field goal
Take the ball. Take it.
for the Saints. Will you take a timeout?
Huh.
It's the only timeout I've ever seen, and a kneel down follows.
And they'll get booed off the field.
Yeah, whatever. I know. Well, 16-3 is our halftime score.
There you go. There's Alan Herbie as we come to halftime, and what you got there was Al going, and that's the way it's going to end. Oh, wait, no. Dennis Allen's calling a timeout for no reason. Hey, are you excited about the food? Are you hungry? Creole versus Cajun. Oh, now they're going to take a knee and run out the clock. Anyway, here's the halftime show. Like, it was.
I'm sorry I didn't make it to halftime. I turned it off somewhere in the second. I should have at least made it that far.
No. We should have switched. Let me tell you how it went down. Doug and I met up. All right. He brought his lady. I brought mine. We had a couple of other buddies show up. Keegan came out. Andrew came out. Like a group of us went out to watch this game. And there was a point about midway through the fourth quarter. Lauren, Doug's wife, my wife, and another one of the girls was there, and they were all kind of off talking to the side. And me, Doug, Andrew, Chris, Keegan off talking to another side. And at one point, the lady leans over and she goes, "Hey." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she goes, "How's Rat Daddy doing?" Because she's all in on Rat Daddy now.
Oh, come on.
She's all in on Rat Daddy.
Come on.
She woke up and sent a text to me, my mother, brother, because she's in our, she's a Saints fan by marriage now. She yesterday at 7:00 in the morning sent a text to my family's group chat that said, "Happy Rat Daddy Day." All right, she's all in. So she leans over and she goes, "How's Rat Daddy doing?" And I went, "I don't know." And she goes, "What do you mean you don't know?" And I was like, "I don't know. I stopped watching at halftime." She's like, "Why are we here?" I'm like, "Fellowship." That's all I got right now. All I got is the ability to lean on my friends to get me through these tough times, these trying times.
Were you wearing Saints gear?
Oh, yeah.
last night?
Oh, yeah. I went out, for the record, I'm still the dude that's going to show up on game day with the fleur-de-lis adorned. Like, I'm not, I love my team.
Except for last Monday, but that's fine.
No, I went out that night wearing fleur-de-lis. I didn't come in here wearing fleur-de-lis. Because the last thing that I wanted was somebody saying, "Oh, yeah, Rob came in there wearing fleur-de-lis in front of Lonzo. He's talking bleep." No, I'm not. We suck. I told you that. I called that. I called that game down to the exact specifics of who was going to do the damage. It was right there.
Or you were worried about, people like captioning or something.
No.
The picture of, me and the
No.
gear and you in the Saints gear.
No.
I just didn't know if you had any.
No, there's no Lonzo.
You don't wear. I mean, just because
Listen,
your team is losing doesn't
listen,
mean you can't represent.
When I tell you a thing's a thing, that's the thing. There's no nefarious reasons. I wasn't about to sit here in front of you adorned in black and gold knowing we were going to get our rear ends waxed that night.
Because I'm known to just talk stuff about my team all the time. That's
I didn't want
to.
No, because what you do sometimes, is I make like a haha funny little joke, and you're like, "Oh, you're disrespected. You're disrespected."
Yeah,
no, it wasn't.
That's a joke, and it's only a joke because you didn't see the obvious disrespect that was done to them that season, and that's why it's going to be a thing forever because your inability to see.
I saw that pass interference that got missed back in the day, 2019. I will say this. I hit the point last night. And I've asked the question before, and I know it's kind of an abstract answer. I've asked the question before. Where's the point that you root against your team to lose? When is the point that you go, I hope we get cooked. I hope we get roasted, because I told Keegan at halftime last night, we're sitting on the couch. I was sitting next to K-Dog, and I looked over, and I said, is it bad? I hope we get beat by 50. Is it bad? I hope the Broncos cover the over-under by themselves. Is it bad that I hope we walk out of this game losing like 53-0? Because we were getting shut out at that point.
So when you're rooting against your team, for what? Obviously, you want the coach fired. You wanted that for a long time. I mean, a lot of times when people root against their team at a certain point in the season is because they're looking forward to the draft and the possibility of bringing someone in that can turn things around. But they're not going to draft a quarterback.
No, it's 100% Dennis Allen. It's 100% the joke. And the problem is this. The problem is ultimately the fact that while Dennis Allen's bad at his job, and he is, while Dennis Allen's bad at his job, the problem we have, and this is to me, this might be the most difficult part. And I know I'm making segment one about me, but shut up. It's my show.
You can make the whole show about it if you want.
I could. I haven't ruled it out yet.
You might get an email. I don't know.
I haven't ruled it out yet. The most difficult realization to make as a fan of professional sports is the realization that your team's ineptitude is generated in the administrative offices primarily. Dennis Allen's bad at his job. I'm not arguing that. Dennis Allen has a career win percentage that with that loss last night has now dipped below a third. Dennis Allen loses 2 out of every 3 games he coaches historically as a coach. He loses 7 out of every 10 games that he coaches. If you extrapolate that out to a 17-game season, my man goes 5-12 every year.
I'd love to see the graph on that.
Okay, I'm just going to write the numbers 5 and 12 next to each other and put them up on the screen. That is what he has averaged as a head coach in the National Football League. And yet, despite the fact that last year, we did not win one of the worst divisions in the history of the National Football League. Top to bottom, one of the worst divisions ever assembled, and didn't make the playoffs in one of the worst divisions ever assembled. My front office, for whatever reason, has decided that that's the guy we're going to hitch the wagon to. And when I look at, and I know I'm going deeper on a show that is about not my team than I probably should here, but I'm sorry, you're all my therapist right now, all right? I'm laying back on that weird couch that only has it's like a flat couch, but it only has one side with an arm on. I think they call it a fainting couch, okay?
Yeah, I think is what, I don't know why you're apologizing. We all expected this. So.
I'm laid out on the fainting couch, which is apropos named right now because I'm so damn mad I want to pass out. I'm laid out on the fainting couch, and you all get to play my therapist here for a minute. We have an owner who cares more about being a bigwig in high New Orleans society than she does the football team that she owns. She cares more about being able to go out into the social clubs, into the Mardi Gras cruise, and throw her weight around as a high roller to show everybody how awesome she is than she cares about the football team. I got an owner that sued her own daughter, who was supposed to take over the team, someone who actually does care about the football team, in order to maintain it, and then does nothing with the football team. She does nothing with it. Nothing. She does nothing with it. And I'll give him this. As much as I think he's a joke and bad at his job, at least Jerry Jones goes in there and tries to get something done, right? Not my owner. She's MIA, completely MIA. You want to know where Gail Benson is? Throw a $5,000 a plate charity dinner in New Orleans. She'll show up to that when she can stand in front of the paparazzi and show everybody how amazing she is. Then she'll be there. I got a general manager who, and we're in a weird spot because he did a whole lot to make sure that the entire Drew Brees era happened. Even though we only got one Lombardi out of it, I really enjoyed football during the Drew Brees era because even when the Saints were bad, they were a good team in the Drew Brees era. But then he's just, what since then? What since then? We've continued to kick the can down the road, not far enough that we can actually make a run while the window slams closed on our own genitalia right now, but not bad enough that you can say it's a rebuild and a reset. We're just like hovering in the middle. Bringing Jeff Ireland. What the hell has Jeff Ireland done since he got there? I don't understand how it is that we all see it. Everybody watching this team sees the ineptitude of this crap-ass franchise that I'm a fan of right now is in the front office. It's generated in the front office, and it trickles down, which is why, despite the fact that this man is a career loser in Dennis Allen, like it's bad enough that, yes, it now feels personal to me, right? It is one thing to go on the mic and go, this guy's not very good at his job. This guy's just not very good at his job. It's another thing to get on the mic and go, this guy's a loser. You listen to this show, you know I'm not the host that goes, this guy's a bum. Get him off the field. He's a bum. I'm not that guy. Because I know the worst NFL player is still one of the best 200 or 300 football players on planet Earth. All right? He's not a loser. He's just not as good as a bunch of freak athletes. It happens. Dennis Allen's a loser. Statistically, he's a loser. The man has won less than a third of the games that he's coached. If Lonzo and I came in here every week and we did one, maybe two good shows a week, do you know what they would call us? Unemployed. All right? 32%. That's where he stands right now. We have lost 5 games in a row. And I'll tell you what's happened. Clint Kubiak came in. The passing offense exploded in weeks 1 and 2. Everybody started talking about how Clint Kubiak gets all the credit for what's happened in New Orleans. He came in. He changed the passing game. He changed the offensive system. He changed this. He changed that. And would you look at that? The Saints dropped 47 on the Panthers. They dropped 41 on the road at Dallas. Clint Kubiak's got this team pointed in the right direction. Everything's great. Dennis Allen got all butthurt about it because everybody's talking about how Clint Kubiak deserves all the credit for the resurgence in New Orleans. And so he went in there and went, no. I'm taking everything back over. I'm not a delegator anymore. Now I'm in charge again.
Wait, do you know that did that really happen?
There
or are
is
you
a
just guessing. I mean,
there is a gentleman down there who covers the team for Odyssey that I have had text message conversations with about, and he goes, Dennis Allen is more involved now than he was in weeks 1 and 2. He is more involved in everything, including the offense. You know, noted defensive coordinator Dennis Allen is now sitting in on quarterback meetings. He's never been a quarterback, but he's up in the meetings directing them. You're not that, bud. Give it to the guy that had us dropping 40 burgers on the road in week 2. Nope. Can't have it. Can't go in there. Can't go in there and just let somebody else have the credit for winning those games. So I'm at the point now. I hope we win one more game this season. I hope we beat Atlanta. All right? I hope we beat Atlanta. Carolina, I've never said this before. I'll never say it again. I hope Chuba Hubbard runs for 190 yards on us. Did you see the numbers they were showing last night? The Saints, going into the fourth quarter, the Saints had been outscored 59-3 in the last 6 quarters of football. 59-3. That's what I'm watching right now. And I get on the radio and I go, I hope we get our asses kicked every week for the rest of the year. I hope we don't win another game. And I get, oh, you're a bad fan. Am I? Because I stayed up to watch that horse hockey last night. I'm so mad I have to say horse hockey because I feel like if I say horse anything else, I might accidentally say horse bleep on the radio. So I got to say horse hockey so that I don't get fired because of Dennis Allen's dumbass. Anyway, good morning. Happy Friday. Let's have a show, shall we? We look ahead to the football weekend. We got coming up later on in the show at 7:20. Mark Benetti, voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, joins us. Opening day tonight at the Well. We'll talk to him about that. 9 o'clock, the boys from the Moving the Chains pod come by to talk some high school football between here and there. Whatever y'all want to get to, I'm going to walk in the hallway, cool off, use my hat to fan the sweat dripping off of my neck, and we'll reset and come back in a better mood. He's Lonzo. I'm mad. Sorry, I'm Rob. It's the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. That was my favorite dramatic music so far.
And still not. I need a singular violin.
I dug it.
Are you frustrated because you've been exercising and eating healthy, but you still can't lose weight? Hi, this is Dr. Elliot Hirschman with New Life Weight Loss, and we know the secret to losing weight and getting healthy the natural way without drugs or surgery. At New Life Weight Loss, many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two without prepackaged meals, no exercising, drugs, or surgery because we get to the root cause of your weight. Go to mynewlifeweightloss.com now.
Hey, it's Rob Ratliff. Let me make it easy for you. I dropped over 15 pounds. I dropped over a foot around my waistline, and I did it because New Life Weight Loss made it easy. If you call them and tell them Rob Brown sent you by the end of the month, $250 off.
To learn more about our program, go to mynewlifeweightloss.com to schedule your free consultation. Our expert team will discuss your health goals, help determine the root cause of your weight issues.
Man comes back to life as surgeons began the process of harvesting his body parts.
Oh. Y'all didn't want to check, make sure he was dead first? Like dead, like real dead.
Before the process, the family raised concerns that Hoover was alive because his eyes seemed opened and he looked around while being wheeled to the operating room. They were told it was a common reflex. Yeah, when you're alive, definitely it's a common reflex. When Hoover started thrashing and crying, he was sedated, and doctors still planned on going forward with the organ recovery. This is an NPR story, by the way. The transplant was ultimately canceled, leading to several employees quitting.
What with the him being alive thing?
Employees quit over that.
Shocking.
The Kentucky Attorney General and U.S. Health Service Resources Administration are now reportedly investigating the incident.
Cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy duty dry cloths have ultra thick pads to trap and lock hairs like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of it.
That sounds nasty, Joe.
Now hair's gone. All thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer heavy duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them.
As my granddaughter would say, ew. One year ago yesterday, Tony Stark canonically dies in the MCU. Or did he?
Sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
You can give help and hope to Hurricane Helene survivors. This is Cole and Diesel inviting you to join the Fan Upstate and the Salvation Army to help provide emergency aid, food, water, and long-term recovery here in the Carolinas. Please give at rebuildcarolinas.org.
Your guide to the gridiron, the maestro of the matchups, and the keeper of all things cool in the sports world.
The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob, the great one, Lonzo, with you today. Let's take it away from my fervor, fever, anger, whatever you want to call it this morning, And let's put it into a general sense because
Did you say general seance?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Remember how last segment you're like, you don't have to point it out. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I screwed the pooch on that one hard.
Okay. I mean, sometimes you use words that I'm unaware of, but that really sounded like seance.
No, I'm the Madre texted during that break and she's like, you feel better? No. I'll tell you when I'll feel better. When the Super Bowl's on. Do you understand how much when we spend 200 days every day counting down to football, when we spend 200 days in the offseason going, all right, 113 days left, 97 days left, 52 days. Guys, 31 days, a month away, 2 weeks away. And then worse. The biggest tease of my life. We come out in weeks 1 and 2 and just drop nukes on people. The fourth most points ever scored in the opening 2 games of an NFL season. In every great offense you've ever thought of. The greatest show on turf, right? The Megatron Lions, all these great offenses. And we score the fourth most points in the opening 2-game stretch ever. And it's like, are we good again? Are the Saints bad? No. Oh, no. Oh, God, no.
Hey, stop self-inflicting. Okay, you said you were moving on, but instead you still want to just keep stabbing yourself.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to move on. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I think I'll be moving on when Dennis Allen gets Robert Salad at some point.
Big football weekend coming up. The MLB playoffs is going
We're coming to all of it. All right.
Okay, all right.
We're going to get to all of it, but it's fresh, Lonzo. It's fresh. All right. It's kind of like, you know how when a relative passes away for the next few weeks, it's like every little thing reminds you of what you've lost. When you break up with somebody or you get divorced or whatever, like for the first handful of weeks, maybe months, every little thing reminds you of that person. Like, oh, we used to ride in a car together. Every time you see a car, you're like, oh, we used to ride in a car together. You can't go places you used to go because it just brings back the memories. It's fresh. It's raw.
I'm curious, for those of you who are listening this early, do you care that much about your team that you will make yourself physically ill and lament on times gone by when your team was good?
Do you not? I mean, well, in fairness, you can't because all your teams are good right now.
That's not true.
It's not fresh to you.
That's not true. The Panthers, I root for the Panthers. People don't understand how I can root for 2 NFL teams, but I do. And I have since I've been here. I've been to more Panther games than any other football period, aside from the ones that I play for. And I love the Gamecocks because I covered them forever. Neither one of those teams are doing well.
Right.
But I do have other teams that are doing well. Okay? I could have come in Monday morning after Oregon, Ohio State, and just been, just destroying the quarterback.
This isn't the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. Your team is still one of the shortest 4 teams in America to win the Natty. The Saints have dropped 5 in a row. It's not the same. And respectfully, you're a fan of Carolina. I agree. You ain't got the love in your heart for Carolina that you do Kansas City. That's your team. This is your other team, but that's your team. The Chiefs are your main girl. The Cats are your side chick. And that's not disrespectful because I got side chicks too when it comes to my NFL teams and my college teams. I got my team, and then I got these other teams that I like, right? I like the Lions right now. I'm rooting for the Lions. They're fun to watch. I like the Bills. I have a kinship with another fan base whose team is known as being losers for their entire existence. I got love for the Bills. That's my AFC team. But ain't none of them my team. I got my team. And my team is Booty Cheeks right now. It's just bad. It's real bad. So, like, it's just different. And it's not that I'm not the guy, and I can say this sincerely. I'm not the guy that when my team loses, it ruins my week, right? Like, I'm not that guy. But this is.
We've all seen otherwise. Today, actually, you're handling it better than I thought you would, because I was expecting something, which still could happen, but I'm expecting a certain kind of day when I got here today. when I turned it off last night and thought, okay, tomorrow's going to be one of those days. I think you're doing better than what I thought you would be. And I think you might actually move on eventually.
I will.
Maybe like around 9 o'clock.
I would no, around 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Around 7
All
o'clock.
right.
Next hour. I'm not gonna take my drive time hour to just talk about how butt my team is, right? But I am gonna get it out now so that I can move on, right? It's a therapy strategy where you front load everything going wrong at the beginning of the conversation so that you can go, okay, now we've got all that in the open. Let's move to everything else. I'm not
David
the
Carr,
guy.
I mean, is Carr coming back this year?
Who the hell cares? Who cares?
You should, because you guys can win with him.
No, we can't. We lost 3 without him, and now we've lost 2 with Rat Daddy. And by the way, it ain't Carr or Rat Daddy's fault. It's not. It's the fact that this offense was wide open. This offense was wide open. This offense was running great for 2 games, and I have it on. I don't want to use the word authority, but I'm going to. I have it on authority from somebody boots on the ground in New Orleans that after those first 2 games where I got teased into thinking, oh, we're back, baby. It's our division again. All is right in the world. The Saints are the king of the South once again. That Dennis got all up in his feels because everybody was giving credit to everybody except him. And he's like, no, I got to make this about me. I can't have that. I can't have everybody talking about Clint Kubiak. I can't have everybody talking about Derek Carr. I can't have everybody talking about Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, who's out for the year, by the way. Who's out for the year. And Olave missed last night because of a concussion. And 3 of our starting 5 offensive linemen from week 1 are down. Here's the thing. I know we got injuries. We're one of the most banged up teams in the league right now. Do you understand? That doesn't mean you can't get a pass blocking scheme set, right? That doesn't mean Dennis Allen, you're the damn defensive coordinator, my man. They showed a graphic last night. The Saints have given up. Lonzo, we are 6 games into the season? We have given up over 650 yards after missed tackles, not contact, missed tackles. 650 yards of offense given up after missed tackles. You're the defensive coordinator, and we got a defense that can't tackle. Running around looking like a bunch of losers out there, man. Like it's frustrating. So I've asked it, and I'll ask it again. Where's the point that you root against your team? I look at Rashad Beer, right? My dog Rashad comes on here every single week.
Certified hater mode.
And talks about the Carolina Panthers. And every week, Rashad's still like, yeah, I want to be competitive, right? I want to be competitive. There's no quit for Quinn. There's no job for Jalen going on. He wants to win. I don't now. I don't want to win. I hope we get thrashed every week. I am so happy that I don't have to watch Saints football on Sunday. You understand? Sunday's the highlight of my week. I wake up every Monday going, make it to Sunday, baby. Make it to Sunday. It's Saints week. Let's go. Even when we're bad, make it to Sunday. I don't think I'm watching football Sunday. I think I'm going to put the lady in the car and we're going to go somewhere.
Really good games Sunday.
I'm going to watch. I'm obviously going to watch football Sunday. All right. I'm speaking out of emotion here. But I hope we lose. I hope we get hammered for the rest of the ride. I hope we win Atlanta because I can't stand the Dirty Bird. And then outside of that, I hope we don't win another game because it's the only way that the front office has to do the right thing and move on from Dennis Allen. Has to. And maybe we'll get lucky and we'll stumble into having some luck. Maybe we'll get lucky and stumble into hiring the right guy to take over. I doubt it. We stink. We're trash. We suck. It is what it is. All right, when we come back, we'll get away from Saints talk because I think I got it out. I want to
point that out. That you said that last segment.
I think I got it out.
Okay, all right.
But I don't know that I got it out, but I think I got it out. We'll see. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
afternoon, number 10 Clemson puts their 4-0 ACC mark on the line against Virginia. The Tigers 5-1 overall. Virginia 4-2 on the season, 2-1 in the conference. 2 o'clock kickoff for the Furman Paladins at home against Western Carolina. It's homecoming weekend. Western Carolina's 3-3, 2-0 in the Southern Conference. The Paladins are 2-4 overall, 1-1 in the conference. The Carolina Panthers are banged up heading into this week's action. Deontay Johnson and Jadeveon Clowney sat out practice again Thursday for the Panthers. Carolina has 22 names on their injury report. Johnson dealing with an ankle injury, Clowney with a shoulder injury. Running back Jonathan Brooks Thursday after getting a limited workout in his first on-field action since being designated for a turn. The 1-5 Panthers travel to 4-2 Washington. The Fan Upstate is your home for Paladins football and basketball. Follow all the action live right here on the Fan Upstate. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone.
Up to the minute upstate traffic. The Cordell and Cordell construction camp shows no overnight road work along I-85, but the right lane is closed southbound 85 through the Elmwood work zone. Right now, it's an all clear for the upstate with 85, 185, 385, 29, and 585 all running at posted speeds. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
World Traction is now only one of America's.
Yeah, that's Zach. Maybe we don't lose Kubiak. Of course, if Kubiak can't look at Dennis Allen in the face and go get the hell out of my way and let me coach, I don't know how much it matters.
Haunted house is not your thing. We have 18-hole mini golf, axe throwing, and carnival games. Enjoy our food, bonfire, Roman characters, 3D photos, gift shop, and fun for the whole family. Still too faint of heart? Grab one of our no-scare medallions to brave the attractions with your friends. Got kids? They'll be able to take over the night and repel the monsters that lurk around. Mad World is the Upstate's most anticipated event of the year. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Located in Piedmont off I-85 exit 35. Buy your tickets now at madworldattractions.com. That's madworldattractions.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price.
Someone put a picture of Bryan Danielson dressed as Sting in the rafters. Bryan Danielson when he returns to AEW to deal with Moxley's New World Order. And with the Sting makeup on, looks weird.
Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Most tax pros, leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm
Great baseball game last night. I'm assuming you're talking about the Guardians game because the Dodgers-Mets game was not. That Cleveland game was fun, though.
Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 12/20/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/speed.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain a storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills, too. For more, go to tanklessmakesimple.com.
From the Ingles Market Studio, the
Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
live from the Free Ice. Now, the Infinity Sports Network. Always streaming wherever you
Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
Okay, I think I'm good. I think we're good now. I think I'm gonna elect to look to the positive. It is Friday. I think I'm gonna
I just
elect.
realized you're wearing black today.
Oh yeah, no, it's a choice. It was a choice. It was absolutely a choice. The season's over. I mean, I knew that going into last night. See, I wasn't going to talk about it, but here we are. I was texting Doug. I was talking to my Broncos buddies. We were going to meet up at the game. I'm like, hey, enjoy your win tonight. Like, take the time to sit and appreciate it. It's
Yeah, it's a
I'm
rare.
so mad I'm
it's a-
choking up over
no,
here.
it's a rare thing that the Broncos get a win. So I mean, I can.
Bro, they're about 500.
Yeah, well,
My team's not.
yeah,
We've lost 5 in a row.
yeah.
I said, enjoy your win. And granted, it was already going to be a tough enough win missing our wide receivers just as a whole, just all of them.
All of them, every single one of them. Yeah.
It was always going to be a tough win. For the record, absolutely do not put this on Rat Daddy. Not even a little bit. It's not on Spencer Rat Daddy.
Yeah, he could hang on to the ball a little bit. I mean, he made some mistakes.
My dude
that
got sacked 6 times.
I know, but you know what? He was sacked in high school, in college, probably sacked in rec league, pee wee, middle school, all that. Hang on to the ball.
I mean, both of the fumbles were in the process of throwing the ball. Both of them were in the process of throwing the ball. Dude's getting hammered behind that offensive line. Like, it's not on him. I still foresee good things from Spencer Rat Daddy Rattler. I think he's going to be fine.
What if you found out that he would play better if you stopped using that nickname?
Then I would, but that's
Okay.
not how nicknames
All right.
work.
So, well, it could. Why don't we try it?
No. That's the Rat Daddy. I'm ride or die with the Rat Daddy, but man, this is it's just bad. You know what? I am going to get away from it because I was feeling good. I'm like, all right, we got it out. We got the negativity out there early in the show. Let's move on.
It's my fault. I drug you back in.
It is. It 100% is. I take the blame for everything that I can. Not this time. I was ready to go. So here's my question to you. Let's talk college football for a minute. Clemson fans, you in or out on Cade Klubnik being a genuine Heisman threat? I asked John Blau about it on Monday. He said yes. I asked Denton Day from SiriusXM, college football overtime host, about it on Wednesday. I asked last Saturday on Bet for the Cycle, which airs tomorrow from noon to 4 on the BetQL network. I asked a couple of different college football analysts about it last week, last Saturday, before Clemson got that win. In or out on Cade Klubnik as a Heisman Trophy winner? And I got to tell you, I think I'm in for finalist. I don't think I'm in for winner. And that's not a shot. Let me tell you why. I put up a video about this yesterday on TikTok. Don't judge me. I'll move it over to Instagram later. I'll put it up on Twitter here in a minute too. But I put up a video yesterday because we got off the show yesterday afternoon or yesterday morning. We got off the show and I got onto social media because I hate productivity, and social media allows me to live vicariously through other people.
Yeah, being productive yesterday was a struggle.
It was a struggle.
It was.
Yeah.
Some of us still did it, but I mean,
Congratulations. I mean, I was, but like later in the day. All right. And then I went home. I was productive for like an hour.
lots of office conferences yesterday.
Oh, for sure. For sure. We were the cool kids in class yesterday. Anyway, I got off the show. I popped on social media. I went to the X, and ESPN's college football account had put up a poll question. The question was, Dylan Gabriel's 3-touchdown performance led Oregon to a massive win over number 2 Ohio State. Does he have your vote for this year's Heisman Trophy? And they put, Lonzo, 4 candidates for Heisman into the mix. The 4 names they threw up there were Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, Travis Hunter from Colorado, Ashton Jeanty from Boise State, and Cam Ward from Miami. Now, lock in your vote. Of those, let's say just those 4. And we'll come to Cade in a minute. But of those 4, Dylan Gabriel at Oregon, Travis Hunter at Colorado, Ashton Jeanty from Boise State, and Cam Ward from Miami, who's your vote going to?
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
Because he's amazing on both sides of the ball and makes an impact on both sides of the ball.
If
he was playing one way, maybe not so much, but I think the two-way thing's got to factor in.
Travis Hunter was a pick for 17.9% of the audience. All right. There were, just so you know that It's a respectable sample size here. This wasn't a poll with like 75 votes on it. This poll, Lonzo, has 289,206 votes. That is a large enough voter pool that you can weed out. You can say that it will effectively remove the troll votes. All right. It is inevitable that whenever I post a poll on like the Fan Upstate's Twitter page or whatever, and it gets 100, 200 votes on it, inevitably, I can throw a joke answer in there, like a clearly this isn't the right answer. Rob's just putting in there to have a laugh answer. And that will get like, some small percentage of the votes. And those are people that are either A, trolling, or B, just clicking on an answer to get the poll results to see what the percentages are. 289,206 votes as of my most recent check. Large enough sample size to remove the trolls. Large enough sample size that I think you can even say it removes fan bias out of the equation with over 250,000 votes. Travis Hunter got 17.9% of the votes. Now, if I tell you there's 4 possible answers here, 17.9 would make you think he's probably, 3rd on this poll? Maybe 4th? Oh, no. 17.9% of the votes, Alonzo, the second highest percentage of claimed votes out of 289,500. Ashton Jeanty received 72% of the votes. 72% of the votes. 72%. Now I'm bad at numbers, but if we look at 289,000 and we say my man received 72% of the votes, that means out of 289,000 votes, roughly 208,000 of them were for Ashton Jeanty. I went and I looked up this kid's numbers. This kid's ridiculous. This kid is averaging, great one, 9.9 yards per carry. He averages a first down on the run. Averages a first down. Yeah, no fumbles. Doesn't turn the ball over. Has 17 touchdowns. If you're not watching this kid, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing out on something I don't think we've seen since Reggie Bush.
Who's he play for again?
The Boise State Broncos. What?
He's not going to get a lot of people watching him because West Coast.
What? I don't think Idaho is West Coast.
Actually, yeah, it is.
Idaho's on the West Coast?
Time.
Idaho's not. Is Idaho on Pacific time?
Yes.
I don't think it is. Idaho is.
It's not Central or Mountain. It
is Pacific time?
Yes.
Damn. I didn't know that. How about that?
You were so sure of yourself.
Who the hell cares? I swore they were Mountain time.
You gave me that look
But again,
you're wrong.
Okay. In fairness, the only part of Idaho that's in Mountain time is just the little chimney part, the little sticky part up top. The entire bottom main part of Idaho is in Mountain time. All right, just a little pointy part is in. Why? I don't know. I can't explain it to you. But just a little pointy part.
So you're saying I was right and wrong.
I'm saying we were both right and wrong.
Okay.
For the assumption that that Boise is in Mountain time, it's fair because the majority of the state's in Mountain time. It's just a little sticky, weird part that's in Pacific time, and that's where Boise is. But the point here is, who the hell cares? You got to be watching this kid. Got to be watching this kid. Cade's going to catch an invite, maybe. But this is a good list of kids, and Ashton Jeanty's going to eat up a lot of the vote.
Obviously, if Clemson continues to win, he's got a better shot at it. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, sure.
Well, Colorado isn't playing that great, and Travis Hunter's still in there.
I mean, that's because Travis Hunter's a freak.
He is, absolutely.
But so is Ashton Jeanty. Let me get Dale in here before we run to the top of the hour break. Dale, my football team makes me sick to my stomach.
Well, so does mine, and I give our good friend Coltrane Bryson a lot of it too from the Daily Wire. So check this out. Since Labor Day, I've started a diet, and I don't know if it's the diet or my football team that's made me lose 30 pounds. I'm a Cowboys fan, and Dak. Oh my gosh! I mean, man.
Here's the good news, Dale. The good news is that, and Jerry Jones said this. It's all the media's fault, Dale. That's the good news for you. Is if Jerry can get the media acting right down there in Dallas, you'll be going to Super Bowls again.
Well, I as much as I love me some
Jura,
I think he's lost it. He's lost touch with reality. Why we never called Derrick Henry this offseason will continue to haunt me for the rest of my life.
Yep.
I have him on my fantasy team. Thank you, Derrick Henry. Keep doing what you're doing in Baltimore. There's no direction. I don't see a future for my franchise. And I'm sure you probably feel that way now with Des Allen still being there. I thought McCarthy would have been fired last year after that playoff debacle.
I mean, it should have been.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing
over and over
again, expecting a different result. So I'm expecting us to. Well, I don't even think we'll win the division or get a wild card berth. I think we won't make the playoffs, and there's no way we can get rid of Dak because we just gave him $260 million or $240 million over the next 4 years.
Yeah. Dale,
it's bad.
appreciate the phone call, buddy. Great to have you on the show. I feel you, dog. I do. I have said already. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I said it to Cole Bryson's face yesterday. Your team is 100% until Jerry Jones dies. I don't mean to be macabre, morbid, whatever.
You know what? They said the same thing about the Raiders, and they still stink. Okay.
Oh, I didn't say the Cowboys will be good when Jerry Jones dies. I say they can't be good until Jerry Jones dies.
All right.
Right? They can be or they won't be, but they can't do it until he gets out of the way. And can't believe Jerry didn't call Derrick Henry. Well, we all agree. That's one of the least hot takes on the internet. We all agree with that. The comedy gold is that Jerry cannot accept that he's doing a bad job. He cannot accept that anything he's done is wrong. He can't accept that. You want to know why Mike McCarthy's not canned yet? Because Jerry would rather continue to do the same thing over and over than go, that's on me, dog. That's my bad. That's right. This one's on me. My bad.
This was on me. My bad.
He's not going to do it. He would rather Dale feel the way that Dale feels. He would rather Cole Bryson. Y'all know Cole Bryson is 17 years old and he looks like that? It's because of the Cowboys. Cole lives with daily indigestion because of his football team. But Jerry would rather deal with that than get on the mic and go, yeah, I made a mistake. I made a bunch of mistakes. It is what it is. We got to move on. He would rather say, that's the media's fault. Sometimes idiot decisions can lead to good outcomes. All right, Jerry. All right, bud. Sports Flash.
You had Cole's indigestion on your bingo card. Shout out. The Cleveland Guardians beat the Yankees last night 7-5 in 10 innings. The Guardians racked up 11 hits, including a bottom of the 10th two-run home run by pinch hitter David Fry. The series resumes today in Cleveland at 8:08 p.m. The LA Dodgers have made Game 5 an elimination game, taking a 3-1 NLCS lead over the New York Mets with a 10-2 win in New York. The Dodgers stacked up a dozen hits in the game, including home runs from Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani. Series has one more game in New York tonight at 5:08. Denver Broncos embarrassed the New Orleans Saints last night in New Orleans, 33-10. I don't know if you noticed, Denver, not a very good team. Tune in tomorrow at 12:30 as Furman Paladins take on the Western Carolina Catamounts. It's Furman versus Western Carolina right here on your home for Paladins football. The Fan, Upstate. I want to hear Bill Brooks drop some bars. I think that would be awesome if he, the Bill Brooks rap album. I'd buy that, or at least download it on Spotify or something.
It's the Labor Day sale for the Upstate Golf Cart. Right now, get a round of golf at 7 premier Upstate courses for only $50. Order at upstategolfcart.com. 7 rounds of golf for only $50. Upstategolfcart.com.
There have been a few instances where I was connected to it and then just suddenly it just dropped.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's because you had also tried to connect.
That is a possibility.
Confusion.
Bye, Chris.
There's a reason for the confusion.
I don't like that it's not what you say.
Yeah, well,
I learned during the break two things. Number one, that the panhandle of Idaho, which is in the Pacific time, while the rest of the state is in mountain time, is also very much a cult haven.
Cult. A cult.
No, a cult is like witches. Cult. Yes, I know you said a cult.
Right, but if you say it, though, if you just cut off, if you say it the way a cult is said, then you'll be saying cult, right? not Colt.
It's a cult haven.
That's what you have to do, man. That's sometimes in order for me to pronounce things, I got to go into a different dialect.
It is a very popular area of the country. And I don't know why. And I am going to be going down the deepest rabbit hole today about the Idaho Panhandle, because apparently it's a very weird place.
Are you looking forward to joining a cult?
No.
Okay.
I started with, we learned
You're already in a couple around here. One has to do with mayonnaise.
We learned during the last segment that Boise State University, actually, I want to make sure, because I actually don't know where in Idaho Boise is. Boise State.
We're pretty sure it's in Idaho, though. So, yeah.
Boise State. All right, so Boise State's in Mountain Time. Boise State's in Mountain Time because it's in the part of the state where the normal people live.
Who do they play mostly though?
I mean, teams out west.
Right. Okay.
But forget all that. This isn't the part. I don't care about. Okay. I don't care about the time zone Boise State's in. The state of Idaho is like a regular shaped main part of the state, and then it has a chimney. It has a panhandle that goes north up to the Canadian border. The little face on the side of Montana cuts into the Idaho Panhandle. All right, and the time zone change runs in this jagged little way through the middle of the state and through the middle of a county. There is a county in Idaho that is half in Pacific time and half in Mountain time. So I assume there's like a river there, and they split the state in the time zone on that river. But why? I don't know. Because they could just move all of Idaho into one time zone and have the border with Washington and Oregon be the time zone shift. Nope. There's like a pocket up north. So then I started trying to figure that out and found out that the northern portion of Idaho, the Panhandle, is a big cult area. A lot of religious cults up there. And then I found out and then I found out via Chris and Lonzo that apparently you can add cult to the alarm list of words that Rob can't pronounce correctly despite being a radio professional.
I do enjoy the fact that you're okay when you and he tag team me, but when it's me and him tag teaming you, it seems to affect you.
It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do. I don't need to run to a state of perpetual victimhood here.
Enunciation is your life.
It has everything to do with every job I do as a words job, and now I'm being told by two people that I respect that I can't words good.
Yeah,
I don't love that.
You job to me all the time.
I don't love that. So now I know two things. Number one, the Panhandle of Idaho, if you want to start a religious cult, is where you need to go to do so. Apparently, the area is very friendly to cults, and also a very beautiful part of the country from what I'm reading.
If you're going to start a cult, you probably should go somewhere that's pretty. You don't want to. Although I guess people are downtrodden, like perpetually in snow or something. Maybe it's easier to get them. But if you want to bring people to your cult, you probably want to be in a good place where you can come to paradise.
I'm also going to assume that, like,
not that I've ever been a cult leader or been associated with, but I did play Far Cry 5.
Apparently that area of the country is very well known as a stay away from this area unless you're in our cult kind of zone. And now that's a thing that I know.
You know what? I think Far Cry 5 is set kind of in that area. It was in Montana, wasn't it?
It's a good game. It's a good game, by the way.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's like right.
I also have learned that I apparently I don't say the word cult correctly.
You said it right, then you said it wrong again. But that's fine.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's rock and roll. Oh, look who decided to join the stream.
Of course.
Thanks, Chris.
He's one of our P1s.
Yeah, that's it. All right. We got to get to some stuff. It is 7:05 in the morning. You, dear friends, have got less than 55 minutes till you got to be to the office, clocked in, locked in, and ready to work. And then, of course, by work, I mean work for like 5 minutes and then take a break and go talk about sports, which means you need to know what's going on in the world of sports, which means you need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar? The Almanac of the absurd in the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying, "These are going to hurt you, sir." Take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet on the Fan Upstate.
Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, top 3 sports stories you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports this morning. When you do, this is what you're going to be talking about. Let's dive right in to item number 1. The Broncos beat the Saints last night 33-10. Item number 2. Over to the Major League Baseball playoffs we go. 5-7. The Guardians make it a series now. They trail the Yankees 2-1, but a very dramatic win last night. One of those kinds of wins that feel like maybe, perhaps, perchance, it's a series shifting W for Cleveland. Yesterday evening, bottom of the 9th, the Guardians down 3-5. The Yanks feel like they are about to push this to an elimination game number 4. Hold your horses. Hold your horses, kids. The sweep is off the table because in the bottom of the 9th, the Guardians went yard, and a big time blast that I actually have some really, really dope audio for you that we're going to play coming up in a little while from Jean-Kenzie Noel, who went yard with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 9th. It tied it up and it sent it to OT. And then in the final frame, the Yanks held off the board top 10. And up comes the pinch hitter, David Fry. What does he do? NBD, the same thing as Noel. A 2-run blast in the bottom of the 10th that sent the Guardians fans home happy with the dub and extends this series. Not just extends it, but extends it in Cleveland with that 2-3-2 model. The Guardians have a chance to send this series back to New York City, tied up at a deuce apiece. The Guardians get a 7-5 win last night. Then the Dodgers and the Mets got after it. Ladies and gentlemen, the happy, fun story of the 2024 New York Mets. I am sorry to say Jersey Joe has come to its conclusion because the Dodgers, as I told the Mets they can't allow them to do, have gotten hot. A dozen hits last night scattered across the 9 frames for the Dodgers, including a double and a dinger from Mookie Betts, who went yard in the 6th inning. Shohei Ohtani took Jose Quintana's second pitch of the night and sent it deep to right field to get the Dodgers on the board in the first inning. The Mets would equalize in that first inning because once again, Mark Vientos went yard. So you had opening frame dingers from both Shohei and Vientos, but it was all Mets after that. They put up 2 in the 3rd. They put up 2 in the 4th. They put up 2 in the 6th. They put up 3 in the 8th. They coasted through the 9th because they didn't need to do anything else. At that point, they were up 10-2, and it would stay that way. The New York Mets now face elimination as the Dodgers hold a 3-1 series lead. Both of those series will continue today. We will have our first game at 5:08 this afternoon with the Dodgers and the Mets. Flaherty versus Peterson is your pitching matchup. The Dodgers -150 to win this contest tonight, meaning that Vegas believes that the LA Dodgers will punch their ticket to the World Series tonight. Then at 8:08 p.m., the New York Yankees are on the road at the Cleveland Guardians. New York trying to force Cleveland to the brink of elimination before they go back to New York. If Cleveland wins this game, we'll be tied at 2-2 after 4 with one more to go in Cleveland. And then we will head back, if necessary, to New York City for game 6 and 7. So there's your MLB playoffs as they stand right now. Off we go to item number 3. I think this is worth it. We're a basketball area. Virginia men's basketball coach Tony Bennett, 55 years old, set to begin his 16th season with the Virginia Cavaliers, announced yesterday, out, I'm done, I'm cooked, I want to go home. He called it a career yesterday, stepping away from the game. The two-time National Coach of the Year award winner, the 2019 College Basketball National Champion winner, the six-time ACC regular season title winner, the two-time ACC tournament title winner, has decided he's going to step away, and he all but outright said, I don't want to deal with the portal and NIL anymore. Like, at all. During an interview with ESPN at ACC Media Day last week, when he was still the head coach of the team, he was asked if there was a perception that he could be the next Jay Wright, who famously left Villanova in his prime because he didn't want to deal with it anymore. Would he be the next Jay Wright? Bennett said, quote, I got to call Jay Wright and see what he says, right? I always have said, when you're doing this, you're in this profession, whether you agree how it's going or not, you have to be true to yourself and really look at it and say, who am I? Can I operate how I want? And can it be successful enough? And you get to choose if you want to be a part of it or not. And when you feel it's time, like Jay did, like Coach K, maybe Saban, it's their choice. And you can sit here and complain and gripe, or you have a decision to make. Either you try to do it your way or you get to make that decision. So I think Jay Wright probably foresaw where this is going. It'll be better whenever there's regulations. Is that 3 to 5 years away? Who knows? But if it's not, those are decisions that every man has to make when it's time. Basically said, I had fun. I liked it here, but I don't want to have to operate within the current landscape of college sports. I am out. And for the record, and we talked about this with Denton Day, more from a football perspective, when we talked to the host of SiriusXM's College Football Overtime on Wednesday morning, I told him, and he agreed. I think we are in an era where the visage of a successful college athletics coach is going to change. I think you are seeing, specifically in football, though I don't think basketball is terribly far behind. I think you are going to begin to see more and more head coaching positions that are filled with young, energetic, vivacious style coaches. Coaches with gas, juice, energy. And not that Tony Bennett didn't have that. I mean, my man's 55 years old, right? He ain't a grandpa. He ain't archaic. They don't have to knock dust off of him to roll him out on the sideline.
All right, I was a grandpa when I was, below 50. I think you don't know when grandpas happen. I'm just saying.
Grandpa is it's just an easy
so you're
way
not
to
talking
say
about an
old.
actual grandpa. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's actually a grandpa.
All right. So
I'm using grandpa as a way to say Jay Wright's not an old man, or excuse me, not Jay Wright. I mean Jay Wright too, but Tony Bennett's not an old man. He's 55. He ain't old.
He's not old especially when it comes to coaching basketball.
Right. There's a lot of, but I will say this. I think you're going to see a lot fewer Bob Knights that are coaching into their 60s and 70s. You're going to see a lot fewer Roy Williams.
I mean, they make a lot of money. And when you make a lot of money and you get to a certain age, I'm guessing you probably go, you know what? This is good. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my life.
I mean, maybe, but there's also the Bobby Bowdens and the Bear Bryants, right? Like, that's just what they do. This is just my life. This is all I know.
Yeah, but those don't happen that much anymore.
I agree. And I think because
Saban might have been one of the last ones.
I think he was. Because, and this is what we've talked about, coaches don't dislike the NIL and they don't dislike the portal because they're impossible to navigate. They're not. People are doing it. They dislike the portal and NIL because if you've been in the game for a very long time, Tony Bennett's been at Virginia since 2009. He was at Washington State before that, and he's been coaching college basketball for like 30 years, right?
I don't think NIL affects basketball the same way because of one and done. I mean, that's still a thing, right?
It is still a thing.
As long as that's a thing, then you basically have been dealing with that already.
I think you overestimate the number of players off of any given roster that are one and done talent. Like Virginia might have two. Virginia might any given year have two players that are one and done caliber. There's not that many. It's the The only less impressive list in terms of depth are the guys who are one and done and like actually successful. Like the number of one and done players in the college basketball ranks isn't that deep. NIL's still a big deal in college basketball. The transfer portal is an even bigger deal in college basketball because think about college basketball, this perspective. It's all the power conference teams that you know and how many San Diego States and Gonzagas and St. Mary's, et cetera, that you also have kids that want to go play for because they got a chance to win a natty. The transfer portal is even more dangerous in college basketball than it is in college football. This is why I think you're going to start to see a number of these coaching positions that are filled by progressively younger cats. And when I say younger cats, I'm talking about, I think you will see sometime in the near future, you will start to see coaches in their early 30s, maybe one or two prodigies in their late 20s, because you want to set up a guy that's got that energy from the get. Because there's 90 things you got to manage now. I'm intrigued to see Tony Bennett stepping away after 15 years with the Virginia Cavaliers. When we come back, Mark Bonetti is the voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. The Bits set to kick off their 2024 season tonight at home against the Orlando Solar Bears. We'll talk to Mark Bonetti, the voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, in the next segment, introduce you to the team a little bit, get you acquainted with what you're going to see on the ice this evening at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena when the Bits kick off the 2024 campaign. Mark Bonetti next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Mad World.
All right, guys, taking a short break, and we'll come right back with Mark Bonetti. Don't go anywhere.
Alonzo with Rob Brown Show. I'm good. How are you? Cool. All right. All right. We got a minute left this break, and Rob, be right with you. Hang on. Yep. New life in the next break.
Okay.
I think the loop is turned off. Just now noticed
Oh,
that.
hey, everybody.
Stinking wired wire. Quit changing the settings, wired wire.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. You know what else? It is indeed Friday. Get down on Friday. You know what else it is? Besides the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate, besides Friday, got to get down on Friday, it's also hockey season. My dudes, the NHL's been rolling on all week long, been spectacular, and now we got hockey right here in the Upstate, because tonight, 7:05, the puck hits the ice as the Greenville Swamp Rabbits start their 2024 campaign. New man on the bench with the visor, Kyle Mountain, taking over for Andrew Lord as the head coach. And to talk about the team, talk about the coach, talk about everything 2024 Swamp Rabbits is the voice of the Bits, a friend of mine on and off the air, and a genuinely all-around good dude. And by the way, a freaking set of pipes on this kid singing the Natty, the national anthem for the preseason game. Mark Bonetti, stop being so talented. I can't keep up, pal.
There's a lot to unpack to start this off. I think this is the nicest introduction I've ever gotten in my entire life and career. And also to have opening night associated with Rebecca Black. I mean, how else do you top that to start off home opening night?
You can't. You can't. Nothing's getting us more hype on a Friday than Becky Black and some local hockey, bud. It can't be done.
No, it can't, honestly. But that's like, this is a holiday, really. Home opening night, season opening night. Two of the best nights of a hockey season, of a sports season, period. Your first home game, your first game on the same night. You really can't get any better. Oh, and by the way, Rob, it's a playoff rematch right out of the gate. So in the schedule, you get punched in the mouth with, a very tough matchup on both sides of it, too. This is a talented Swamp Rabbits team, a lot of returners from Orlando, and there's a lot of unfinished business for Greenville to start off the year tonight.
Let's jump in, and I do want to break down tonight's game. Mark Bonetti, voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. But let's start with the dude that's going to be holding the clipboard this year. We lose Andrew Lord, moving up in the world of coaching. Will not be shocked to see Lordo on an NHL bench sooner rather than later. Kyle Mountain had his first year as an assistant in Greenville. Last year, gets promoted to the HC job. We've had Kyle on the show in the past when he got hired last year as an AC. Talk to me about the growth of Kyle Mountain during his time and what you expect out of him as a head coach, Bonetti.
So this isn't his first go as a head coach. It isn't the professional ranks, but he was the head coach of Newman University in NCAA Division III for 6 seasons. He was on that bench for 8, 2 as an assistant under Matt Kendler before he took over. And, Mounts almost borderline immediately jumped into coaching. He finished his college career in 2015 at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, helped them to their first and as of this moment, only Frozen Four ever in program history. And then basically jumped right on the bench with Newman, very close to where he's from in Philadelphia. So he got to stay close to home. He got to develop as a coach. This is someone who emulates a lot of Lordo in a lot of aspects with how he manages his day-to-day, with how he prepares his guys with information. But, obviously a couple of differences
with respect to, some styles, maybe some messaging, things like that, but someone who is more than capable. And I think you've noticed the kind of leadership that he brings to this bench with how many returners came back to the team, whether they're AHL contracted, whether they're re-signed from ECHL deals from last year. 10 players, almost all of them on the back end, with the exception of Austin Saint up front, the captain Ben Freeman up the middle. So you can't ask for anything more for Mounts. He's more than earned this. He's more than ready, and I can't wait to see what he does the first of a long 72-game season tonight.
Mark Bonetti, voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. With a team like the Swamp Rabbits that are so closely tied to the local community, but hockey being what it is, Bonetti, an international sport where you got guys coming from Europe to play here, guys that depart the team to go play there, going up to Canada, et cetera, et cetera. Getting to know these teams early in the season, to me, is as much fun sometimes as the games themselves. If I asked you to pick a couple of players that are maybe new to the team that you think the fans are going to become familiar with over the season, who would be the guys that stand out as we get set for game number 1?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I think there's also an acclamation to people that they already do know, who are coming off of great seasons from last year or coming off of a lot of potential that unfortunately we didn't get to see much of. I think of an Austin Saint, a guy who scores in his pro debut, comes hot out of a cannon out of Canadian college with 4 goals and 5 points in 8 games, and then he's sidelined with the season-ending injury. And, it's never on one player, Rob, but I'll tell you, if this team had Austin Saint in the playoffs, maybe we're looking at a different outcome. Maybe we're looking at, maybe 7 games, because Austin's the kind of guy who loves to crash. He's got a nose for the net. And I think he really could have done some serious damage leading into the playoffs and beyond that. But super happy to see him healthy. I think fans are going to love to see what he brings to the table in a full pro season. Joe Leahy coming off a year as a rookie where he was the leading scoring defenseman, a big leader on the back end there, coming back for his second full pro season. As far as new players are concerned, there's a lot of synergy right now with the affiliate in Ontario and the American Hockey League. You look at a guy like Bryce Brodzinski, who's the former captain of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, tied for second all-time in most games played in college history. Dryden McKay in between the pipes, 3-time Hobey Baker finalist, the 3rd goaltender in all of college history to ever win it. That's the Heisman Trophy of college hockey, for those that don't know. NCAA shutout record with 34 to his credit. And I can go on and on and on, but that just shows you early on, Rob, how deep this team is coming right out of the gate.
I am interested about the goalkeeper position here, Bonetti, because it was a spot last year that I think was as up and down as I've seen in a long time. You had stretches where guys like Luke Richardson were had a very hot hand, and the Bits were winning a ton of 5-1 games, and then you'd go a week later, and all of a sudden they're giving up 7 and 8s in certain spots. Is consistency between the pipes a focus this year, or is it just kind of something that you go, hey, we've got the talent, let's make sure we're dialed in with it?
I think consistency across the board, regardless of position, is something that you look for, but that consistency can get thrown out of whack for a number of reasons. I mean, you obviously know watching sports, injuries are a huge part of the game, and goalies, they get hurt a lot occasionally. Knees, hips, groins, they're just nagging things that go on and on. There's also what I love to call with the ECHL, the ever-changing hockey league factor, where guys are playing musical chairs between affiliates. Then there's trades. Then, there's call-ups, send-downs, all these different things. And it's not just even at the goaltending position. It's up front and on the back end. You could be playing a team that's depleted because of injuries. And as Lordo used to joke, they're getting pillaged by their AHL affiliate. And then on the other side, you have a team that's at full strength and you're not, for a variety of reasons. So, consistency, especially in this league, it's how you approach your day-to-day. That's why Mounts is so great and he's so qualified for this. It's about the messaging and getting your guys as prepared as possible, because you don't really know who you're going to have in the lineup on a daily basis.
What is Kyle's approach to that? Well, are we going to see kind of classic gruff hockey coach? I know that he's been around the game for a very long time. Is this going to be a players first mentality? What is the approach to the game from the new HC?
Well, he's got really good skill up front. There's a lot of offensive skill, but Rob, I got to tell you, if I had $1 for every time this offseason announcing a player or talking about this team, he said the word defense in their skill set or just period, I'd be a very rich man and my life would be very different right now. He is all defense. And not necessarily to say he's all defense, but he has a huge focal point on the defensive side because, you know, the cliche goes defense wins you championships, right? As the assistant coach last year, he ran the D-corps and the defensive structure of the Swamp Rabbits, and they were tied for 8th best defense in the entire league, averaging under 3 goals a game. And I want to say they were about just under a half a goal off the leading pace, which was Jacksonville. They were about 2.6 goals allowed per game. So, you know, it's something that's obviously very important. And with an ever-changing lineup, with call-ups, with send-downs, with injuries, trades, and of the like, the simplest thing to hone in on is protecting your own net, protecting your own zone. And I think you see that with some of the guys that he signed on ECHL deals, huge bodies that can skate. I think our average forward size is about 6'2", 200. Our average D size is about 6'4", 210. But these are all guys that, for their mass and their size, they can move. And in order to play defense, you got to be able to skate.
Let's play a classic word game, Mark Bonetti. 3 words to describe the team this year. 3 adjectives that you would apply to this team. Give me the 3 and then walk me through why you picked them.
Intelligent, defensive, and big. The obvious one, big, like I said moments ago, our team's huge up front. We've got big centermen. We've got big defensemen. They can all move. The intelligence factor of this team is why they're so skilled. And I know I've said earlier that this is a very skilled group up front, but the intelligence, the ability to dish the puck, the ability to set up in the zone, carry through neutral ice, finish towards the net. You're bringing a guy like Brent Peterson with a division rival who had the best 2-year offensive stretch of his career with 90 points in 122 games with Savannah over the last couple of seasons. The likes of a Ben Freeman, who is consistent on the power play, consistent up the middle, can dish the puck. All the young skill and young intelligence that they're bringing in. And, you know, again, the defensive side of things, I mean, this is a team that you take care of your own zone, good things are going to come for you. And I think that bodes for a lot of exciting hockey coming into tonight and, quite honestly, over the next 6 months and, God willing, beyond that.
Mark Bonetti, voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Got another couple of minutes here as we get set for the Swamp Rabbits taking on Orlando at 7:05 p.m. this evening. Break tonight's game down for me. I'm a big believer, Bonetti, in the fact that you got to come out of the gates and establish a tone, not just for an individual game, but for the season at large. And, of course, there is, I don't want to say bad blood between Orlando and Greenville, but I know the boys from last year's roster would love to open up with a dub tonight. What's that take?
Well, it's going to take being physical right off the get-go because you got to realize here, too, it's a unique situation, Rob, where now this is 2 years in a row. This team has a standalone game on opening weekend. Last year it was on a Saturday. This year it's tonight, but there's nothing to rest up for. It's not like you've got 3 and 3 this weekend or you've got to travel overnight. And even then, you're still going to play to your fullest and to your best. You're not going to hold back, right? But you have nothing to hold back for. You don't play again until next Friday. So that energy is huge. That physical element's huge because you do have a unique situation where you have a full week between games to recover, prepare, reset, regroup. So let it all go. There's a lot of energy. Of course, don't force anything, right? But, you know, at the same time, don't hold back either. So I think that's the biggest thing for this team. And then it's also understanding, too, there's a handful of gentlemen in this lineup making their professional debuts tonight. It's an exciting time. So play off of that energy, too, because you only get one professional debut. So enjoy that. Play with energy, but play hard, too, because, again, you've got nothing to rest for. Orlando's got to get on a bus tonight and play in Charleston tomorrow. So they're the ones that have a heavy week with travel. They're on the road. But for you, you get to sleep in your own bed the next 7 days. So let it all out and have some fun.
Mark Bonetti is the voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. He'll be on the call this evening at 7:05 when the puck hits the ice and the Greenville Swamp Rabbits take on the Orlando Solar Bears to get this season underway. Bonetti, my man, good dude. By the way, Really? Like you just being a great play-by-play guy wasn't enough. You had to sound like you were in concert singing the national anthem the other night.
It's funny. I was talking about it with staff that they had no clue. We were obviously doing our game operations run through for Alexis Eckerson and her production staff, getting used to certain elements and whatnot. And believe it or not, Rob, it's not my first time having done that. I'm the emergency backup singer, I guess, for places I've been at. Very similar to an emergency backup goaltender, except nothing related to actually playing the game. But we've never lost in regulation anytime I've had to step in on a different microphone. So I'm not saying, there's a direct correlation here, but if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
Listen, I'm going to tell Mountain if things start getting squirrely for the boys and he finds the first two Natty singers locked up in a closet one day, it's not me, is all I'm saying. Mark Benetti, voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, again on the call tonight, 7:05 puck drop, as the Swamp Rabbits host the Orlando Solar Bears to begin the 2024 campaign. Benetti, my man, always great to have you. Have a great call. I'll see you at the well tonight, partner.
Yes, sir. You got it. Enjoy the moment tonight. It's a great night to get things started off.
Dude, opening night hockey is the best. Mark Benetti, voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. We're back right after this.
New life.
All right, guys, one more live and we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. Number for the Rob Brown Show, 864-719-2550. 864-719-2550. You tell them the Rob Brown Show sent you. Pat Riley here going today.
Okay, I don't know if I went there.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate and Drop the Beat. This is let's roll for 2 seconds. This is a perfect hockey song. Perfect hockey hype song. A little bit of the build-up, drop the beat, but it's not like it's not overwhelming, right? Like you just stay right here locked in. Hockey's about being locked in for long runs, long stretches of time. Baseball, you need jolts of energy, right? Because you got bang, big moment, and then it kind of dies off, and you got to sustain that. So when you go baseball hype, you gotta have some juice, some gas, some energy, some electricity running through you. Hockey, it's more like long runs with short breaks tossed in there. So it's more about keeping that flow where it is. It's a great hockey banger. Great hockey banger. And by the way, somebody asked, why the Solar Bears? Well, because they're in Florida. And their logo is a polar bear, but they're in Florida, the Sunshine State. So you take the polar bears, you turn them into the Solar Bears. Get it? Get it? It's a great name. Honestly, it's my favorite hockey name.
I really do enjoy that name. It is. And it's a great mascot. Their mascot, Zoe, is a polar bear, but he's got on the old like Miami wraparound shades, and their colors are, they wear like neon pinks and blues and stuff. It's a great vibe all the way around, right? You got teams like the Jacksonville Icemen, wildly creative. Granted, it's because back in the day, before we had freezers and whatnot, and you'd had to buy like big ice blocks, right? When they shipped those ice blocks into Florida, they came into the port of Jacksonville, and so the guys that handled the ice were icemen. So they're like, that's boring, that's dumb. You have the I do love how people, and I'm not really cracking. I know it's going to sound like the powers that be that come up with these names. They do all this research about the area and stuff. In the end, I don't think people care as long as it's cool looking. I mean, I maybe you need the historical part so you can get the historical money. Maybe that's what it is. But in the end, if you look and go, that's a banana. I like that.
I am big on local teams having local ties in the name, right? Like I can't tell you how many times I have explained the Swamp Rabbit name, right? Oh, well, there's Swamp because of the Swamp Rabbit Trail, but it used to be a train track and it was the Swamp Rabbit Express and it rolled through this area, and, Travelers Rest is there because that's a stop that's halfway from Atlanta to Charlotte. That's where the train stopped.
But if you're trying to get your kid into hockey, you don't need to tell the kid all that. The kid needs to look and go, hey, that's a rabbit. That's a cool, I like that.
And I think you opened it up with a nice local crossover, but also it is a tangible mascot. It is something you can look at. What's an Iceman? Yeah. So I got some 1910s dock worker. That's my mascot. That's what I'm supposed to get hyped about.
Do they have cool mustaches?
No, like here's the thing. Their mascot
it's not like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Their mascot's an Eskimo. It's just an Eskimo. It's the most generic old.
Right.
It's just an Eskimo. Like, I've been to Jacksonville. It sucks a lot. I routinely refer to it as the butthole of America. And I can say this because I've done the research. I live there. There's no Eskimos. It's one of the second worst ones behind the Utah Jazz.
Do kids look at the Eskimo thing and like it, though?
For the record, and this is going to be one of the spots I had this conversation last night. As a matter of fact, I was talking wrestling with a buddy where I said, and this is a take that I don't know why it gets people up in arms. Not everything has to be for the kids. All right, I don't have to design everything in my world around the kids.
Here's what you do. The reason why you design it for the kids, because the kids want to come, they bring the parents. Also, those kids now have become lifelong fans, and they tell their kids about it. It's a generational thing. You get the kids, you get the adults. That's just how it works. It's good marketing.
No, I mean, listen, I want the kids there.
Just because you're anti-kid doesn't mean that the marketplace does not work that way.
No. I'm not anti-kid. What I am
They should not show Paul Feinbaum just his head. They should not do that.
I'm not going to crack on it, but yeah, you're right. I'm not anti-kid. What I am is I gotta be second consideration behind your kid in every situation. No. See, I'm coming and I'm buying beer, like a lot of it. That kid's buying a ticket and a hot dog. I'm coming and buying a whole bunch of beer. All right, make it fun.
That kid's
for
not
me.
buying anything. His parents are.
Exactly. And you know who else is? Me. I am here too. All right. It's a dumb mascot, the Eskimo.
You're right. The two part is really what it comes down to. You are secondary. You want it
that's what every parent believes, and I'm sick of it.
No, you can say that. But from a marketing standpoint, if I can get a family of 4 or I can get you, I want the family of 4. You know why? That's 4 of you.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that kid's putting down the amount that I put down in beers at a hockey game?
His mom and dad may go, wow, my kid really likes that jersey. Let me pay $150 for it.
You know who else does that? Me.
Do you?
Yes, I have 5 of them.
Do you, Rob?
Yes.
Do you
all right,
pay
not
for
me
those?
having to pay for
Okay,
it, but
all
you
right.
get
Do
it.
you? Do
You get it. If I was a regular person, I would. That's my point. The Iceman's a dumb name. All right, and also they're from Jacksonville. They could have the coolest name in the world. It's a dumb name. It's a dumb name. All right. Texter says Rob's right about the butthole of America. I know. I was there. I loved it. And it's the worst place. It's the worst place.
I'm guessing I might go there and actually like it.
You won't. There's nothing to like. The only nice place is Jacksonville Beach, and the only reason Jack's Beach is fun is because they have a bunch of great bars. That's it. They have a beach and a bar on it. That's their whole thing.
Do children like Jacksonville Beach?
I would assume if they like sitting on a beach, then sure. But
did they annoy you? Did they get in your way? Did you have to worry about stepping on them as you were going for the ocean?
Let me give you a take. Last weekend, we went out to a local brewery on a Saturday. Just hang out. Got done with Bet for the Cycle. Wanted to go out, get out in the sunshine a little bit, get a little public FaceTime. We went to a local brewery. And I was sitting at a table talking to a couple of friends. And I had the audacity to say the A word sitting at a table talking to my friends. And not even like Rob Brown loud talking. Like genuinely just having a quiet conversation at the table.
Really?
All right? Yes.
Your quiet is still like 5 dBs above everyone else's.
When I am being cognizant of other people around me enjoying a particular atmosphere, yes, I'm a jerk. But I'm going to stay out of your good time. When I was chastised by a lady because her not probably 2-year-old kid might have heard me say the bad word in a brewery. It's a brewery. It's a brewery.
So does it say when you walk in the brewery, it's okay to use curse words?
It's a bar. That's how adults talk.
Do they serve food? That's how 12-year-olds talk. Do they serve food?
Yes, all of you out there who use naughty language, you 12-year-olds.
Listen, I sound like my dad. I hope he doesn't come home and beat me.
It's just me. It's just me and Meathead McAfee out here.
Yeah, okay, dude. The thing is, you're
in a bar.
There are also people who don't curse and don't like it.
If you take your kids to a place that is designed around adults drinking alcohol, don't try to tell us how to operate for your 2-year-old sanity.
So what you're saying is,
I'm saying take them to a Chuck E. Cheese.
They should have a sign at the door saying no kids allowed. Or did you not pick a place that said no kids allowed?
No. Totally fine with your kid being there. Honestly, I'm totally fine with your kid being there until you start telling me how I'm going to act around your kid. That's when we have the problem. Not that your kid's there. I don't care. I'm good with it. In fact, if your kid's running around having a good time, there's a good chance I'm getting involved. There's a good chance I'm like, yo, I'll play Connect 4 with that kid. Let's go. I'm all in. Kid, I'm about to ruin you. All right?
Also, you have, we've talked about this many times. Remember who you are. Remember who you represent. Remember that, causing a scene or something could cost you a lot more than just a bad time.
I didn't tell the lady what I wanted to tell her about where she could stick it. All right. I was like, I understand, ma'am. We are in a brewery. I was very polite about it. All right. If I go to the Chuck E. Cheese,
so
I'm not dropping.
You pointed out it was a brewery.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
In case she was lost and thought it was a Chuck E. Cheese.
I'm glad it didn't escalate further because I'd be talking to somebody else across from me.
I mean, again, if you are going to come into a brewery, you are going to hear adults use adult language.
Remember
if that
who
makes
you
you
are, and remember what you represent, and remember that
I
if you
didn't
caused a
fight the lady.
scene, you could, yeah, but you got snippy. You just said,
100% I did.
Yeah, well,
100% I did.
Saying, I don't know if I brought this up if I were you.
If you bring, I don't care.
You should.
I don't care. If you bring your kid into an adult landscape, if I'm at a bar watching football and my team screws up and I go, what the hell? And you go, not around my kid, please. Well, then remove your kid,
so
not me.
Is there a place where I can look it up to find out what an adult landscape is so I would know exactly where that is?
Yeah, any place whose primary function is adults drinking alcohol
Do
to
people
enjoy
come
themselves.
there to eat food?
I don't care.
If they do, then it's not their primary
Go to
function.
Olive Garden.
That's what bars are. Breweries generally, from what I understand, serve food.
Yes,
and that
which
makes
is-
them a food place.
Right, for sure. That's why we call them food places that also make beer. No. We call them breweries because what does a brewery do? Brewery beer.
No,
it's a beer place
it means
that has food.
Obviously, they serve food, but they also brew the beer on location. So
It is a brewery. The primary function is a brewery, is to brew beer. If the primary function was to serve food, they'd call it a restaurant that also brews beer.
This just sounds like a lot of Saints anger. So
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Sports Flash. God! I was doing so good.
The Cleveland Guardians beat the Yankees last night 7-5 in 10 innings. The Guardians racked up 11 hits, including the bottom of the 10th two-run home run by pinch hitter David Fry. The series resumes today in Cleveland at 8:08. That's all tonight. The LA Dodgers have made Game 5 an elimination game, taking a 3-1 NLCS lead over the New York Mets. With a 10-2 win in New York, the Dodgers stacked up a dozen hits in the game, including home runs from Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani. The series has one more game in New York tonight at 5:08. In case you didn't know this, the Denver Broncos embarrassed the New Orleans Saints last night in New Orleans, 33-10. If you lose that much to the Broncos, you probably should be embarrassed. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels head to East Side to take on the Eagles. It's Burns versus East Side right here on your home for Burns Rebels football. It is us. It is right here. It's what you're listening to, the Fan Upstate. That's why we win stuff, Zach.
I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical.
Sorry you were not entertained, Nathan. We're going to have philosophical arguments. We're going to have sports arguments. Sometimes we're going to argue about stupid things like chemtrails, which are real and he says they're not. That's just part of the show. There's a common place on the radio somewhere. It's too early to listen to because they'll put you to sleep. So. I also, Nathan, don't believe I raised my voice once. So, I mean, you know.
already tried. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants to?
Yeah, check Miller's is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Granger. Granger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
A tough loss for the Burns Rebels this past Friday night as the Gaffney Indians defeated the Burns Rebels 15-9 in double overtime. The Burns Rebels are now 2-1 in region play and 2-4 on the season. The Burns Rebels are on again tonight as they are eagerly in 2020.
Cooler out in the hallway, isn't it?
Yeah, so much, dude. That's why I went out there for that long. And I wore this is my I wore because this is a thick shirt. I am sweating in here.
Well, look at what I'm wearing. That's why I'm not moving a lot. Is that more about the hat or your hair?
Both.
Okay. All right.
Both. I got to have the right bill bend.
Okay.
The hat's got to I'm a bent bill on the hat guy. All right. I'm an old school hat guy. My bill's got. I will rock the flat cap. You've all seen me do it. I'll rock the flat bill. Flat bill's more about style than practicality. But the baseball hats are meant to have a bent bill, so that the angle of the sun, no matter where you're facing when you're chasing down a fly ball, the sun's blocked.
All right. So at some points during your young life, someone taught you how to do this, or this is just something that you've over the years have come up with your own method, your own style?
No, I think it's one of those things.
I've seen other people do it.
Yeah.
I've never understood it completely, but
I think it's one of those things that you pick up from watching the big leaguers do it, and then you eventually figure out why they do it, and then you get good at it. But yeah, I'm a bent bill guy. I'm also a backwards cap guy. I'm not doing this one because this one's the back's not flat enough to where there's a good line across the forehead. It's kind of like up and down. It's not a good look. So you got to go forward cap, and if you're going forward cap, got to have the right bend. That's why I'm on the stream looking at myself repeatedly, bending the bill. Got to get it right. Welcome back.
Let me label this chapter. Rob hates kids. There we go.
No, it's not. It's not true. It's not true. I'm not going to parent your child for you. If you don't like your kid around that language, either don't take him there or tell him why that guy over there in the black shirt and hat is a mean person and we don't act like him.
I used many opportunities when my kids were growing up to say, see that?
Yeah, don't be that guy.
That's what I don't want you to act like.
That's fair.
That guy right there.
Tell him I'm a terrible person and don't act like me. Just don't tell me how to act. There's a big difference. All right. Hey, it's 8
Don't
o'clock.
say that's how all radio people act. I mean,
I never did.
Yeah, I mean, you're representative of all radio when you go out. So,
Nope.
So if people think something of you, they think it of all people on the radio.
I got my name on my jersey, not anybody else's. All right. It is what it is.
They may think it's generic. They may not know it's your name.
8 o'clock audio blitz. Some of the best audio we have heard over the past few hours. Let's jump right in. And you know what? I'm going to play it again because I need you all to hear how bad things went for my Booty Cheeks football team last night. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, Amazon Video last night, Thursday Night Football heading into halftime.
A segment or two in the booth in the third quarter. Meanwhile, under pressure, and that's the way this half is going to end in all likelihood, but they're going to take another timeout, I guess. All right.
Timeout.
For what practical purpose? You tell me.
Final of the half. Again,
I don't know.
Even you're stumped.
Yeah.
The stump you is hard.
You're excited for what's going on behind this wall right here at halftime. You hungry?
It depends. I got to see what
See
the
what's
spread,
on the menu.
what the spread is tonight. We going Cajun or Creole?
It's a great town for food.
Sure. Punt, fumble, punt, field goal for the Saints. Will you take a timeout? It's the only timeout I've ever seen, and a kneel down follows.
And they'll get booed off.
Yeah, whatever. I know. Well, 16-3 is our halftime score.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
So I looked it up because I was curious about what they serve at the media in New Orleans, just to see what they would say, and it's local favorites like jambalaya, crawfish pie,
Yeah. Oh, the
Cajun
Saints
chicken, sausage pasta.
The Saints spread is the best I've ever had.
Oh, boys.
Yep, best I've ever had, and I've had some good ones. I will tell you that just because why not stirring the pot everywhere else? In this area, South Carolina puts out the best spread, and it ain't particularly close. With all due respect to my friends down in Clemson.
You don't have to throw respect there. They know.
No, I do.
They know it's better food.
Clemson spread is fine. South Carolina wheels out a meal. South Carolina makes you go, I think I might take a nap in the second half, boys. It's good.
Then you go back up for the dessert.
It's good.
Yeah.
I will say this. The dessert game, Clemson's brownie game is real strong. Clemson's brownie game is
Do you feel
real
a certain
strong.
way after you eat them?
Clemson's brownies are so good that I take less food to save room for an extra brownie. But as far as the overall game goes, South Carolina's game spread is just it's untouchable. It is. Peter King was on a podcast yesterday. Was on the NFL Net yesterday, talking about the possibility for an 18-game season. We would all assume the NFLPA is anti-18-game season. Listen to what Peter King had to say yesterday.
I don't expect the players to be adamant about this. You've already got the NFLPA executive director, Lloyd Howell, telling Mike Jones of The Athletic, hey, who doesn't want more football? I'd love to see more football. And I'm paraphrasing there, but that was in essence what he said during the summer to Mike Jones. And if the executive director of the Players Association is saying, hey, bring on more football, what chance does it have for anybody to say, we're not doing this? And I think there are some players who, regardless of the extra money, don't want to do this.
So there are some players who are going to push back against an 18-game NFL regular season. But Peter King says he believes at this point we're going to an 18-game season. And I'm going to tell you, if the executive director of the NFLPA is saying it, that means the PA is on board. He is not going to throw out even a little bit of an opinion that might run contrary to the primary concerns or objectives of the NFLPA. If the NFLPA director is saying we all want more football, there may be some dissenters, but at the end of it, I'm going to go ahead and call a shot. In the next 3 years, we're playing 18 NFL games a year.
But at the cost of probably another preseason game, and we already see how sloppy games are the first couple weeks as teams are getting acclimated to actually playing NFL football, whereas when they had more preseason games, it wasn't nearly as sloppy. So you take another preseason game away, the first 4 weeks of the NFL season are going to mean a whole lot less.
So here's the thing. How many preseason games do you think the average casual fan watches? 0?
I'm concerned about the players, and I'm also concerned about state of play. When you think, why is my team doing like they should be better than this? Well, it's because they haven't really played together yet. Because they didn't get to play in preseason because they took those away to give you more.
Okay, hang on. Wait,
regular
time
season
out.
games.
Time out. The only teams who didn't play their teams in preseason, it was by choice. That's on them, right? We had a whole thing about how Andy Reid did play his starters in the preseason, and the Chiefs came out firing, right? The teams that didn't play starters in the preseason, that's their choice to do so. You got 3 games to do it. It's your choice not to. If the players are on board, and on top of that, the NFL knows y'all ain't watching preseason games. Y'all are tuned in for 9 hours on Sunday, week 1. What are they going to make this decision over? Money.
Then if you have 2 preseason games, you also have less time to evaluate players who you brought in. Maybe they're pretty good, but maybe they haven't caught on yet. It's going to hurt that unless you're actually going to use the UFL or whatever that is now as your feeder system.
For the record, I'm not arguing against anything you're saying. What I'm saying is, number one, there's still 3 games. And by the way, I haven't heard anything about getting rid of a preseason game to add another regular season game.
I seriously doubt. Well, that's what happened last time when they added a regular season game. They took away a preseason game.
I know. That's what happened last time. I don't know that that's what's going to happen this time. I haven't heard anything about it. And I do think there is a point where the coaches will push back against taking away another preseason game. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is if the PA is on board. And according to Peter King, they are. Last night, the Mets got hammered by the LA Dodgers. We're going to talk some baseball coming up here in a minute. We're also going to go through our college football schedule and NFL schedule over the next couple hours. My favorite part was in the middle of the game. End of the game. Dodgers down, I think 8-2 at this point, or Dodgers up 8-2 over the Mets at this point. And the announcers went quiet just in time for a New York Mets fan to make his opinion known on national television.
The first World Series game.
I love it. That's all you did. That's New York, quintessentially. Just a fan screaming in the background on national TV. You all suck. That's incredible. That's incredible because the Mets have just stopped. They just stopped. They were rolling and they just stopped. Hey, speaking of baseball, bottom 9, Guardians down a deuce. Got to make something happen. Jhonkensy Noel comes to the dish. Runner on, and Jhonkensy Noel goes yard. And Rob went to his phone, grabbed it, and reinstalled the Duolingo app because I have to learn all the languages. Listen to the call in Spanish.
Acaba de empatar el encuentro en la Navidad en octubre. ¡Qué bárbaro, qué monstruo! Se puso la Navidad y no ha nevado todavía. Lo que cayó fue la explosión que le dijo a ustedes si se pasaban Nate Thomas, algo iba a pasar. La puso chiquitita.
I gotta learn Spanish.
Take that out, Michael.
Seriously, dude.
I mean,
seriously. I got guys in the box for moments like this who are half asleep.
And yeah, he was singing Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, he was. Jhonkensy Noel. I got to go back to the Duolingo. I got to put the Owl app back on my phone. I have got to go back to remedial Spanish because I don't think I'm ever gonna listen to baseball not in Spanish. That's electrifying to me. Those boys were having a ball, and I loved it. I was all in for it. That was absolutely spectacular. Let's keep rolling with the audio blitz here as we get towards the end of the segment. We're going to talk some college football here in just a minute. You know what? I'm playing this one for Lonzo. You know who Michael Winslow is? I know you do, Lonzo. You know who Michael Winslow is.
Yeah, man of 10,000 voices
man
or whatever.
10,000 sounds.
Police Academy.
I got a new one. Well, I got a new one for me. I don't know if it's new for you. I've never heard this one before. I've seen a bunch. He does this cool thing where he goes on tour and he plays scenes from famous movies and he creates his own audio to it, right? His own Foley effects to it. It's very cool. I've never heard this one before. He showed up on a stage apparently not terribly long ago in a Jimi Hendrix costume.
He also does Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard this.
He did this. This is a person with their mouth.
in Malibu, slide away.
Dig, I don't know. Listen, I saw that this morning. I listened to it like 4 times. I'm like, this is incredible.
You should listen to the Led Zeppelin one.
I've heard the Led Zeppelin one. It's really good. Like, really good. All right, let's keep rolling. Remember a couple of years ago, Patrick Mahomes, pre-Super Bowls, Patrick Mahomes, pre-Super Bowls, was starting to emerge in the conversation as like, oh, maybe this guy's really good, right? And a sports writer one time early in his career compared Patrick Mahomes to Troy Aikman, and Troy Aikman dropped a tweet that did not age well. Troy said, "Talk to me when he's got 3 rings." Well, Troy Aikman actually got asked about that the other day, and if he regrets that tweet, that is still getting tweeted back at him.
Has Patrick Mahomes brought up the tweet, the famous tweet? Because that was bad, Troy.
But so here's what happened. I don't even hardly get on Twitter, but in 2019, I just happened to get on it, and I was looking at my replies, and this one comes up. Whoever this writer was. Like, why would he compare Patrick Mahomes, his stats, to me? Like, I was never known as a stats guy.
True.
Why wouldn't he compare Mahomes' stats to Dan Marino or Joe Montana or somebody like that? So when I read it, I felt like the writer was taking a shot at me. I thought, like, I said, like, this jackass. I mean, like, what? And does yards or any of that even matter? Do touchdowns even matter? At the end of the day, for a quarterback, the only thing that matters is winning championships. I mean, that's all that we're ultimately judged on. So at the end of the day, the championships, in my opinion, and I know that sounds self-serving because I was able to win 3, but that's what matters. So I thought this writer was, I just thought, what do numbers mean? It's irrelevant. So my reply was really a shot back at the writer to say, hey, this is what matters.
Right.
Hey, it was never a shot at Patrick Mahomes.
You buy that? You buy that from Troy?
Did he call him Patrick Mahomes, or did you just?
No, I cut the audio
Okay,
earlier. I think he knows Mahomes' name at this point.
Yeah, I am buying it.
I am too.
I'm for sure buying it.
I am too. 100%.
Does he regret it? Probably not. He doesn't seem like someone that regrets a whole lot of anything.
I don't either. All right. Last
he
one.
He could have laughed that off and everything. He's still coming at it kind of hard, and he remembers that he didn't like the writer. So
I buy it. I buy it out of Troy, man. I don't think he regrets it. Because again, at the time, I think it was fair. No, I don't buy into the rings are the only thing that matters for quarterback discussion. Although to a huge percentage of you, that's true. It's not to me.
And to a quarterback who has rings.
Yeah, of course. Of course, a guy with 3 says that's all that matters. I bet if we ask Dan Marino, he's like, no, it doesn't matter at all. Right?
Who?
Of course. I don't buy the argument, but I get where he's coming from, and I buy his defense of it. All right, last one. J.J. Watt is now a TV guy. J.J. Watt was on McAfee's show yesterday. They do a segment every time J.J. comes on that's called Ask Jage. JJ. It's their fun little cute nickname for J.J. Watt. Ask Jage. And they take questions off of Twitter where there's a guy named Greg on Twitter who apparently has been asking J.J. Watt for a very long time a very specific question. I'm going to play this clip for you. It's 27 seconds long. It's absolutely hilarious, but I need 2 things. Number 1, I need you to know there's 3 bleeps in it. So if you don't want your kids to hear that, be warned.
Well, why'd you bleep them?
Because I'm not allowed to play them on the radio. All right. If it was on my TikTok, I'd absolutely play them.
If it was socially acceptable, you'd be able to.
No.
Apparently
No. If it was FCC acceptable, okay?
The FCC decides what's socially acceptable.
Right. Which is garbage. All right. If you don't like it,
I'm just glad you're not in charge of the FCC.
Point is, I need you to tell me if you agree with this or not.
Greg has been asking this question a lot.
Yes, he has.
And nobody will give this guy an answer.
Needs one.
Yeah, I agree.
I will.
Okay, thank you, Jage.
Yeah, you roll up your sleeve and you stick that hand down there and you do what you have to do. Then you wash that off. You do what you have to do. You don't leave the toilet clogged at your friend's house. You take care of that You wash your hands thoroughly, maybe 3 or 4 times. You dry them off, and then you go back out to that party.
And shake everybody's hand, Greg. They don't even know what just happened.
So the question was, if you're at a party and you clog a friend's toilet, accidentally as one does, how do you handle that situation if there's no plunger available? You're in the bathroom. You got to do what you got to do. You flush and it won't go down. You've clogged the toilet. How do you handle it? And JJ Watt says, if you don't have a plunger, you reach down in there, you grab it, you move it, you do what you got to do, you wash your hands, and you go back to work.
All right, my question for you is, do you do those sort of things at parties? Do you, if you're at someone's house and you go in there and you do that? Because I
will tell you.
I would rather go home than do that at somebody's house.
I personally, great one. I am the dude that will 100% if I got to perform that particular activity.
You will say, I'm going on a beer run.
Yep.
And then you'll hit a gas station.
I will go. No. I will go home.
Okay. All right.
I will take my rear end from your party to my house, do my business, and then come on back. And I'll come back. All right. I'm not that dude that's like, I'll go home and then I do my business. And then I'm like, oh, well, now I'm home, right? Like, now I'm good. No. I'll come back. But I'll do it at a bar. I'll do it at a restaurant. I'll do it at a party. If I get to the point, because here's the thing. If you're in that situation, it becomes an unavoidable activity. Like you're like, this is happening at this point. It's not like I can just clench and squeeze up for a few more hours. Hang in there, maybe stop thinking about it, and I'll get over the sensation for a minute. If it's at that point that it's just an unescapable reality that you gotta go. You've got to perform this activity immediately. I will leave, go home, do my business, and come back. The nightmare for me is doing that in public. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
I completely agree. I also have a perfect solution. My solution, this works for me
Never
every
leave the house.
single time, is I just don't go to parties.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Never.
Yeah, don't read that. Don't read that on the air. You're going to anyway. We're late. Let's go.
The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
It's already the longest break we have. Dude, I mean, it's going to be like the next hour by the time we come back.
I guess we got to start talking about some football.
Again, my solution works every time.
I would still prefer that than at a friend's house if you know it's going to be a piece of work. You know what I mean? You know it's going to be a piece of work.
Well, if you're at a friend's house, someone's going to follow you in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're going to come out and they're going to know it was you. And I mean, if it's a bunch of dudes, who cares?
The not at a friend's house thing, because I would rather poop at a friend's house than at a bar, right? But the not at a friend's house thing is sometimes you leave souvenirs that are like Geneva war crimes, right? Like violate the Geneva Convention. And what I don't want to do is have, the MOAP, the MOAP go off in a friend's bathroom and they all got to follow me up in there and I have to own that. I would rather be in a spot that, like, if I leave and I leave a souvenir that is a war crime, if anybody smells it, it's someone I don't know and will never see again. All right, long break. Give me 45 seconds. I'll be back. The Moap. Yeah, so you got to realize whether it's Davis or anybody else that TV announcers are prone to promote the largest the teams with the largest audiences, right? Like the MLB 100% wants a Dodgers Yankees World Series. That's what they are rooting for. Because that's the two largest baseball audiences in America. You would have the 1 and 2 television audiences tuning in for those two games. So that's exactly what they want. And I don't think that when you do TV, you can do your best to be unbiased. But especially if you've got the chance to be connected to a team that's going to the World Series, and since he is Fox's Dodgers guy, there's a chance he could get involved there. But I will tell you, I think Costas was worse for the Yankees than Davis was for the Dodgers.
We have tickets to give away.
Yes, and I can't get into that thing, FYI. So you'll have to.
Because you didn't sign up when you were supposed to sign up.
Sure.
Ain't nobody read emails. Well, perhaps you thought it was beneath you. All you need to know is we're giving away 4 tickets.
I got that part.
The homecoming, which is tomorrow at 2 p.m. against the Catamounts.
The Catamounts.
From Western Carolina. I had to look it up.
Apparently on CBS HQ this morning, they popped up a graphic about the Georgia-Texas game. Georgia-Texas stats. 6 meeting all time between the two teams. Texas leads the series 4-1. Stat 2, Texas won 11 straight home games. Last loss 2022 versus number 4 TCU. Stat 3, Georgia has won 50 straight games versus non-Alabama teams.
It is surprising that none of those guys ever go into that kind of career, though. I mean, they've got experience with driving really fast. Why not? Wasn't going to root for the Jets this weekend, but now I am.
Why weren't you, and why are you now?
Well, I'm because they're going up against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh has has benched an Ohio State quarterback to go with Russell Wilson. If he comes out and he's horrible, then I look good. If you look bad, and also the Jets would play really well, which would also make you look bad. And that's all I care about is me looking better.
It's respectable.
It's a common dude thing. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's not really fighting. It's just,
I prefer to be right. And if you disagree with me, then I prefer you to be wrong.
Exactly. As I learned yesterday, I'm weird. And you know, when you wonder what people think about you when you're not in a room, confirmed yesterday. Wow, I'm weird. Epiphany. You don't remember the discussion in the office yesterday about me being weird?
Oh. Was it not weird overall, just a weird take? No, it wasn't a take.
No, it's me being weird.
It's a philosophy.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's your
that I'm two people. And
no. That wasn't it. No. It was that you think everything is a work and it's always with nefarious intent. That was the take. Every time you're like, nope, that's a work, and it's because
what I believe.
They put Lonzo's picture on the building and he found a way to make it a bad thing. That's what set me off.
It's not a bad thing. It's leverage. That's what I was talking about yesterday. It's definitely leverage.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate, 8:30 in the AM portion of the day, and we start looking ahead towards the landscape in collegiate and National Football League football. We do have Kevin, Jarrell, and John coming by at 9 a.m., the Moving the Chains podcast. The fellas coming by to talk to us about all the things going on in the world of high school sports, including a handful of games we had last night.
Are we getting Jarrell again?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm working on so I'm putting it out into the universe because we got him twice this year, which I
got
think
him-
is a record.
Yeah, it is. And I'm looking forward to that.
For sure.
The other guys are good. I'm just,
But it's Jarrell.
It's Jarrell, man.
He carries.
good.
He's
the voice that both of us are jealous of.
Jarrell's the best.
I mean, his voice it's smooth.
9 o'clock, Moving the Chains, fellas, going to be coming by to talk high school ball, get us all caught up, make sure we are well aware of what's going on in the high school landscape. But until we get there, let's talk about some of the different.
Quick aside, Chris, go fix something.
No, he can hang out. He can hang out. All right, we do have some games tonight. Florida State on the road at Duke, and here's a sentence I don't think has ever, not that nobody's ever said this sentence, I don't think this sentence has ever been able to be said. Florida State, a 3-point underdog to the Duke Blue Devils.
Why are they playing tonight? Why are there Friday night college games?
There's a handful of them tonight. Actually,
know,
it's not
I'm
just them. Number 2, Oregon. Number 13, BYU also play tonight.
But why?
I mean, I think there's Friday night games every week. It's just that you got 2 ranked teams and one just on the outside looking in playing it.
I wish I could do it in a kid's voice, but why?
I don't know what to tell you because it's Friday night. Why not put football on TV?
Because it's high school football is going on. Why would you put college football on?
Here's the
are all these games meaningless?
You ready for the ugly truth? Here's the ugly truth. Because I'd rather stay home and watch college football. There's your ugly truth. Sorry, I love high school football.
But you're not going to though.
I love high school.
You got something else to do today.
I do have something else. Swamp Rabbit hockey tonight. I will be watching some hockey. Now, you better believe there's 4 or 5 of us that we're paying attention to what's happening down in the tunnel. Don't be listening right now, my boss there. But it's
so you're saying Florida State doesn't?
I watch college football 7 nights a week if it's on TV.
Florida, you're a Maxion guy. Florida State doesn't have a chance against Duke?
No, I mean it's a field goal difference, but this Blue Devil team seems to be. We put a lot of the credit on last year's Blue Devil success on Mike Elko, and Elko was a big part of it. I liked the hire for the cult of Mike Elko, but it turns out maybe Manny Diaz has got a little something cooking up there for the Blue Devils. Now, is he still riding the remains of Elko? I don't know. We'll find out. But that's an interesting game on the road.
So should I be rooting against Oregon or should I be rooting for Oregon to go undefeated? Because for better seeding, if Ohio State were to beat Oregon in the Big Ten championship.
It doesn't matter. You beat them in the Big Ten championship, you're catching a bye. So at this point, the only thing that matters for you is win out. Don't lose another game.
Right.
Now, I don't think
Oregon's going to lose to Purdue. I think that's who they're playing. But
they are playing Purdue.
But that was a pretty big game last week against Ohio State. And I mean, when 2 behemoths fight, you might be prone for a letdown. We'll see.
Purdue's kind of like they're kind of like Vandy in that they're not a conference threat, but doesn't it feel like Like every year, they find a way to take somebody out.
I don't know if I'd throw Vandy in there. Vandy could be a conference threat. I mean,
No,
you
okay,
don't
up
know.
until this year.
Yeah, I mean, this
Up
year,
until
they're,
this year.
they're playing amazing. by the way.
Vandy had this history like they would snipe a Florida or they'd snipe a Tennessee or they would take one of the, bottom of the top tier teams out. That's Purdue, bud. Like this is a team that the Ducks, after what happened last week, the Ducks better not go down to visit the Boilermakers and be emotionally exhausted. Like they better be jazzed, man.
I guess it is down. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Oregon's way up there and Indiana's way down there.
It's
not way down
It's not really. It's like they're both in the top half of the United
All right,
States.
listen, Professor of Geography Lonzo is just owning me today.
Today
all right?
I am. Yes,
All
I
right.
am.
I'm pretty sure Indiana's south of Oregon, though.
It would be more about
Because it kind of bends up a little bit.
it would be more about where the cities are than it is the state. I don't know. Now we got to bring up the United States map.
All right, I'll
as
let you
continue.
I'll let you look up the geographical relativity.
Like
of
you
those two
you
schools.
didn't do it earlier. So
No, for sure. I'm curious. I'm not knocking it. I'm just letting you do it so we can keep going about these two games. Oregon at Purdue tonight, Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana. All right, here we go. Actually, you know what? We got to run to a break. Here's what we'll do.
yeah, it's like a state higher, so it's definitely a whole lot higher.
Nailed it. One for two. 1 for 2, except for half of Idaho is in Pacific time, but it's the Panhandle part where all the Colts.
Why do they call it a panhandle? It's more like a hand pointing up than it is a
Panhandle. That's
well, the
they call it
panhandle of Florida looks like a panhandle because it looks like you would grab the handle.
So does
of the
that. Just
pan.
because it's up and down doesn't
All
make
right,
it not
so
a
I guess
panhandle.
maybe if you turn your head to the left.
Yeah, there you go. Just stay like that the rest of the show. All right, when we come back, let's take a look at the college football weekend upcoming. Miami at Louisville, Virginia at Clemson, and the rest of the top 25 games that matter, and some of the non-top 25 games as well. That's coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, Max. Oh, is it your first game? All right, I will be there. I will be working, Mac. Find me, dude. Find me. I'll walk around during the breaks. Come find me.
It won't be hard to find them.
No, I'll be the guy in a jersey that has my name on it.
And just listen first. Don't look. Just close your eyes and listen, and then you'll be able to pinpoint where he is.
Yeah, make sure you come say hi, Mac the Knife. Love to see you, buddy. Yes, Capt. That will be
That was
correct.
confirmation. I mean, he's just, I said it, then he said it. So and the pessimist comment is funny. I'm more optimistic than you and Rob combined. Should be pretty good though, Zach. That's what I'll be watching tonight. Don't post too many emojis, Chris. You might hurt your thumb. You need that to fix stuff. While in spirit Halloween the other week, again, I almost bought you a Cartman mask.
There's a guy on Instagram.
Just because I think it would be funnier on Christmas if I throw on a Goofy mask and he throws on a Cartman mask. But
there's a guy on Instagram who just covers very popular songs as Cartman, and every time I see him, I'm like, "Yeah, Chris did it better."
Yeah, Chris can do it. Chris could outdo that guy any day. I haven't even heard him.
He's really good. He sings genuinely
So is Chris.
good singer, but as Cartman.
Chris would. I don't know if you recall. I don't know if he did it while we were sharing an office. He might have just break out into Cartman song on occasion. So I don't care what you say, Rob. Chris is the best. That's not a very pessimistic take, now, was it? It's all work. It's a ploy. It's a plan to try to get me to be more positive, to prove I'm not negative. You guys aren't clever. Still got those tickets to go away. Just saying. I'd prefer you not do it now because going into the top of the hour is a little bit more difficult. Maybe coming out of the first break.
Of next hour?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you could talk quietly while I screen the call. So you could do that.
Can I?
Yeah, maybe. I'd even reach over and turn you up. Who has more injuries this week, New Orleans or the Panthers?
New Orleans.
They just said 22 for the Panthers. That's a lot. Doesn't sound like a leaf blower. Maybe it is.
All right, wrap it up. Hour number 3 of the show. One more to go after that. As we celebrate Friday here on the show. Let's talk some collegiate football upcoming this weekend. We start with the noon slate. Miami is at I got to tell you, man, Miami's dangerously close. I was looking yesterday at Kelly Ford. Kelly Ford, I've interviewed him many times on BetQL Network. He puts together what I think is my favorite team ranking process, right? He's got a formula that he utilizes that dives really deep into a lot of different stats, numbers, and metrics to put together rankings. It's actually my favorite ranking system out there right now is the K Ford ranking systems. Well, he put together a metric where he effectively put into tiers how many mulligans or upsets required any individual team can have or must achieve in order to end up in the playoffs. Lonzo, he says that Texas and Iowa State both have 2 mulligans. They can lose 2 games and still be in the playoff discussion. Georgia.
Do you believe that? I believe that about Texas. I don't know about Iowa State.
Iowa State, I don't know if I believe it. But I also think that Iowa State is probably in the K Ford ratings, not just getting some love because they have won, and also my internet has just crapped the bed.
Hey, mine too.
Cool. All right, we're coming back stream. They probably can't hear us, but we're coming back stream.
Well, I'm still on.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah.
One of us is. Iowa State, I think, is a team that has some level of benefit based not just on the fact that they're undefeated, but also the fact that they've the second half of the schedule shapes up a lot better for them down the line. The teams that have 1 mulligan left, these are the teams that can lose 1 more game, not make it, but be in the conversation. Georgia, Alabama, Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, Miami, Texas A&M, and BYU. Any of those teams you think either have 2 mulligans or 0 mulligans available to them? I'm going to say Bama. I don't think Bama can lose again. I think Bama's got to win out if they want in. I think they're out of mulligans.
Yeah, I agree. And, the scare they got put into them last week. And, do you think they will lose? Because I'm thinking they might.
I got to tell you, if you'd asked me after the Vanderbilt game, I'd have said hell no. After the South Carolina game, all due respect to South Carolina, the answer is like a solid maybe. I will say this. They got Tennessee this weekend. This is a rivalry game. Tennessee and Alabama despise each other. if they're going to lose a game, they got Mizzou, LSU, Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn. The Iron Bowl is always up for grabs. We'll see what Oklahoma really is this weekend. I'm not going to hold that Texas loss against them. LSU's dangerous. I don't believe in Mizzou. Tennessee is very dangerous because, especially with Tennessee having fallen down to number 11 with the L that they ate on the road at Arkansas. I don't think Tennessee, and looking at the K Ford rankings, Tennessee is in his 0 mulligans allowed group, right? He's got Tennessee, LSU, Notre Dame, Kansas State, Indy freaking Anna. You want to know why I win?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
Indiana in the playoff conversation. It's incredible.
They're undefeated right now.
Nope. He's got Ole Miss, Clemson, SMU, and the Iowa Hawkeyes in the 0 mulligans. They do not have to have any big upsets, but if they do not lose again, the Kelly Ford ratings say that those teams will be in the playoff discussion at the end of the year. I don't think I disagree with any of those, to be honest with you. I think all of those are teams that win out and they have a very good shot to get in. Now, which teams I think will win out? I don't know. Kansas State's pretty good. Indiana, is Indiana this good, or are they riding an emotional high right now?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either. I love the coach. I love the team. I love the mindset. I will always be a fan of a team in the mix that, wasn't supposed to be there. Big Cleveland Guardians guy right now. I don't know if this is an emotional high or if the team's actually that good. Ole Miss, I don't think Ole Miss is getting there. Clemson, I think I agree. If they win out, obviously they'll win the ACCB in the playoffs. But I when they say mulligan, I don't think Clemson has any. They can't lose any. That includes the ACC title game, because I think the ACC, even if Clemson and Miami both go into that title game undefeated, I don't know that a one-loss ACC team this year is going to get in over, say, a 2-loss SEC team. Again, we've already seen the bonus points are there. Same with SMU, same with the Hawkeyes. One upset required: Pitt, Mizzou, Liberty, and Army. Can I tell you?
Did you say Liberty?
I did say Liberty. Sure
okay.
did. 2 upsets required: Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Michigan, Louisville, and Navy. Both service academies in the discussion. I love that.
Wait, hasn't Michigan already lost?
Michigan has already lost, but they've got to pull 2 upsets, and one of those would be in the Big Ten championship game.
Okay, so they're doing the upsetting. They're not being upset.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
These are how many upsets a team must accomplish in order to get in, according to the K Ford ratings. 3 upsets required: Vanderbilt, Illinois, Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Florida, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, and South Carolina. Kelly Ford rankings say if South Carolina pulls off 3 upsets, they can get into the playoffs this year. I don't have a problem with that one either.
More likely to get into playoffs, South Carolina or Vanderbilt.
Oof. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up both of those because I want to see what's left ahead of them.
And according to that, each of them would have to get 3 upsets.
3 upsets. All right, so let's put those side by side.
And they do play each other, so
they do. According to ESPN, here's who's left. Vandy's got Ball State, number 1 Texas, Auburn, South Carolina, number 8 LSU, and number 11 Tennessee. And with the win over Bama, there are only 3 games on the docket remaining for Vandy that I think would be considered upsets. So they would have to win out, including number 1 Texas, number 8 LSU, and number 11 Tennessee. I love the Doors. That's a tall order. South Carolina needs to win out. They have 3 ranked teams left as well: Texas A&M, Mizzou, and Clemson. Lonzo, I'm going to say more likely South Carolina gets in.
Yeah, more than likely.
If they both win out.
If they both had to get 3 upsets, South Carolina has a better shot at getting 3 upsets.
I would agree. 4 upsets needed: Arizona State, Nebraska, Boston College, Duke, and Kentucky. 5 upsets, and obviously these teams don't have the numbers to do it. Syracuse and Virginia, 6, ULM. And then the frowny face emoji of these teams can't do anything to get in is everybody else, including the Utah Utes, by the way. The Utes, Yana. No, I don't think anybody, great one. I don't think anybody from the 2 upsets or more category is getting in.
I agree.
Oklahoma, I don't see it. But again, preseason, I told you I didn't see Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma was getting overblown. I'll tell you what I think was happening with Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma was getting the, they SEC though, Paul, treatment, right? Like by joining the SEC, they suddenly were better. That's not how it works, like at all. I think from the 1 upset group, Pitt, Mizzou, Liberty, and Army. Does anybody from that group makes it in? Army's interesting. The problem I think you're going to bump into with Army, despite the fact that the numbers are shocking this year, Army has 1 ranked team, well, technically 2 now. 1 ranked team on the schedule, that's Notre Dame, and then obviously the Army-Navy Bowl at the end of the year against Navy. Here's the fun part. Army and Navy play in the All-American Conference. The All-American Conference game is Conference Championship weekend, which is annually the weekend before Army-Navy, meaning that if these 2 teams are able to pull basically 1 big upset ahead of them, right? Army's got Notre Dame that they've got to worry about. Navy's got Notre Dame that they got to worry about. If these 2 teams hilariously both beat Notre Dame this year and are both undefeated, you know what that would mean? That would mean, great one, that Army would play Navy for the All-American Conference Championship 7 days before Army plays Navy on the regular season slate. That's the coolest thing that's ever happened. That would be the best thing that's ever happened if Army and Navy played for the trophy of the AAC and then the next week played for pride.
Could the winner possibly have a shot at making it into the playoff and then turn around and lose the next week and lose that shot at being in the playoff?
Yup. And you better believe whoever win, if, and again, they both have to beat Notre Dame. That's a better Notre Dame. Notre Dame did lose a stupid game earlier this year, remember? Notre Dame's got a 1 in the L category at the hands of the Northern Illinois Huskies. And all due respect to the Huskies, based on what I've seen so far, if Northern Illinois can beat Notre Dame, Army and Navy can both beat Notre Dame with what they're rolling out this year. If they both go undefeated, and let's say Army beats Navy in the AAC title game, but then Navy beats Army in the Army-Navy game, 2 service academies in the playoffs, inject it straight into my veins, please and thank you. I would be all in for that. Absolutely incredible. So there you go. There's a stream of consciousness thought about the landscape of college football as it stands right now. When we come back in the next hour, we will open with John Jarrell and Kev for the Moving the Chains podcast. Then we will take a look at some of the biggest games in the college football landscape, give you our thoughts. Then we will wrap up the next hour with a preview, prediction, and prognostication segment about the National Football League. We'll walk you through the NFL's weekend and some of the biggest games from that slate.
Hey, next hour, we're going to give away some tickets.
And at the end of the next segment, we have a family 4-pack of tickets for you to this weekend's Furman football game. It is homecoming against the Catamounts, baby. Furman at the Crib coming up at 2:00 tomorrow, and we have got 4 tickets for somebody to go watch the Dins play a little college footy. We will give those away at the end of the next segment. John, Jarrell, Kevin, the Moving the Chains crew is next after Lonzo absolutely seduces you with this sports flash.
Or just makes Rob angry. The Denver Broncos embarrassed the New Orleans Saints last night in New Orleans. The Denver's pretty bad. I'm just saying. 33-10. Spencer Rattler went 25-35 for 172 yards and was sacked 6 times. Denver quarterback Bo Nix went 16-26 for 164 yards and rushed 75. Denver's defense recovered 2 fumbles, both off of Rattler, and returned 1 for a touchdown. Cleveland Guardians beat the Yankees last night 7-5 in 10 innings. Guardians racked up 11 hits, including bottom of the 10th 2-run home run by pinch hitter David Fry. The series resumes today in Cleveland at 8:08. The LA Dodgers have made Game 5 an elimination game, taking a 3-1 NLCS lead over the New York Mets with a 10-2 win over New York last night. Tune in tonight, 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels take on East Side right here on your home for Burns football, the Fan Upstate.
And now, with the No Scare medallions, my little ones are able to brave the haunted house experience. They talk about it all year long. Mad World is much more than a haunted house. It's a fall tradition like no other. Grab your tickets now at madworldattractions.com and get ready for family fun.
10 years ago, who could have predicted what the internet would bring? Streaming videos, voice assistants, smartphones, smart homes, work from home. But here we are, wondering what the next 10 years will bring. Lumos 100% fiber optic internet is ready with incredible speeds and reliability. So you can do more and be more than you ever thought possible on the internet built for the future. Plans start at $50 per month. Learn more at lumosfiber.com/next. Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business. And we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now.
My email's so cluttered. I gotta fix it.
Yeah, you should do that. I'm testing to see if I can break it.
Count on us for help with cleanup and repair. We've got
Just to see if Chris was right. It's like beta testing.
We're here for your community. Visit Lowe's in store or online.
See if you can break it so they can fix it.
Just break Gmail.
Well, yeah. I mean, he said unlimited. We're about to find out. It might take me 5 or 6 years, but I got time, hopefully.
Look at old Payne Stewart joining us here in the chat.
What's that about?
I mean, I was just listening.
I don't know if that's a good reference, dude. I mean, it didn't end well for him.
That's my favorite golfer. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but it did not end well for him.
What's up, Kev?
Hey, fellas. How y'all doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing well. Doing well.
Clemson cover against the Who's this weekend?
I think so, man. I think Virginia is not very good.
Where's your confidence? Clemson's been putting up some points lately.
They have. I was a little worried last week. That first quarter was a little bit slow, but got it going after that and roll pretty easily.
Johnny boy, what's up, fella?
What's going on?
Oh, just doing a radio show.
Living the life.
Pretending to.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And away we go. The fourth, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello to you, and how do you do, Upstate South Carolina? What up, America? Howdy, y'all. Good to be with you. Really overexcited at XL. But my man XL dropping the genuine ride the pony tutty selly for the Panthers.
And if you were tuning in to this here program, you got to see Rashad Beard do that
Rashad
yesterday.
Beard nailed it, too.
Yeah, he did. It was really good.
Full commit. Got up out of the chair and everything. It's as good as it can be.
I don't want to say that I didn't expect him to be able to do it. I just didn't expect him to do it.
Yeah, the difference between Ken and Will in that spot was enormous. But my man said, we got 200 people on the stream. Of course, I'm going to get up and ride Dollar Bill into the sunset. Phenomenal. Hey, you know what else is phenomenal? The fact that we're playing high school football. All right.
Can we get John and Kevin to ride the pony? Like,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll get Kev to hit the XL celebration. John's throwing down. I love it. I'm here for it. John and Kev for the Moving the Chains podcast. John Epps, Kevin Thomas joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. You can find their work on the World Wide Web, Al Gore's internet at movingchains.com. No G on that one, movingchains.com. The same handle on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can find their podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc., etc. Fellas, how we doing, boys?
Doing well.
That was nice. You hear that in stereo, synced up and everything? Listen to the damn professionals we got up in here.
Love it, man. I do want to give a shout out to XL. As a fellow Marion County hometown raised boy there, love the celebration. Love him putting on for the city, man. Love what he's doing there.
There is nothing.
Wait. Then why don't you have that accent?
That's what's so funny. He's always like, "Oh, y'all just ain't heard anybody from Mullins talk." And I was like, you know what? I have, Xavier, and nobody sounds like you.
That'd be great, man.
I don't know.
My favorite thing about this is, Kev, you got some twang in there. We can hear it. We all got speakers, pal.
Not like that, though.
No, not like XL. XL. Listen, Xavier Legette is a national treasure, and I will go to war to protect that man. All right? He's an icon, and you won't disparage him on this show, Kevin.
Hey, I agree.
All right, let's get into some high school football, boys. And it's kind of interesting. We talked about this when we had you guys on last week with the decision made by the association to keep the same number of regular season games, or at least for as many schools as is possible to do so. But obviously that is required staggering some games, maybe moving one up so they can fit another one in midweek, maybe a couple of spots where some schools are going to play 2 in 1 week, etc. So we've had some Thursday night football games that we are paying attention to as well, Kev. And we'll just run down the ones we have had so far this week. I know you've got a list of scores. Run me down some of the ones that went down last night.
The big one was T.L. Hanna upsetting J.L. Mann in dominating fashion, 42-20. A big special teams game from the Yellow Jackets. They beat a man team that was projected to win that region. That kind of throws that one up for grabs there. Hillcrest got a nice bounce back, a good win over Easley there. Malden, how about this, Rob? They end a 15-game losing streak last week, and they win again last night. So they lose 15 in a row. Now they've won 2 in a row. Great for the Mavs there. And then in a good rivalry matchup, St. Joe's takes down Southside Christian 14-7 last night as well.
Talk to me real quick before we get into this weekend's game. How big on the overall picture is that T.L. Hanna upset?
It's very big because, T.L. Hanna, from what I've seen, what I've heard from folks, they're maybe a step down from typical this year. They already had a couple losses on the season. They'd already lost to Greenwood in region. J.L. Mann had just been dominating everybody, except for Gaffney, who is a big-time program as well. J.L. Mann just had a shutout win over Hillcrest on Saturday. People thought they were going to run through that region. All of a sudden now you got Hillcrest, Mann, T.L. Hanna all with the region loss. Greenwood still sits undefeated at the top of that region. So interesting to see how that all shakes out. Could certainly see maybe a 3-way tie here at the end for that region title.
Hillcrest kind of get back on the horse, 28-3 win over Easley. Is that more say about Hillcrest being pointed in the right direction, or was this kind of a mismatch?
A little bit of both. With it being a short week, I know both teams, especially I think Hillcrest had some guys out. They just played Saturday, a quick turnaround out. And also they got to play again next Tuesday. So you don't want anybody who's on the edge. You want to hold them out. Hillcrest, it was a dominating ball game. Like they just ran the ball down their throat, 300-plus rush yards, I believe it was. The Rams kind of got things figured out from last weekend, it seemed like.
All right, let's jump ahead to the weekend games, to tonight's games. And we got John Epps up in here as well. Kevin Hogan, all the damn mic time, John Epps. It's unbelievable. It's like he owns the place, like he runs the place. Let's get into some games, fella. And I tell you, a little rivalry I've enjoyed watching from the outside in. The Berg at Boiling Springs tonight, big fella.
Yeah, this will be a good game. And I feel like these are two programs that really aren't getting a whole lot of publicity, not getting a whole lot of talk about them because they get overshadowed by Gaffney in that region. But these are two teams that are having a really good season thus far. Spartanburg, their only loss was to Dutch Fork. Boiling Springs, their only loss was an overtime game against Gaffney. Two really good programs. Lincoln Husky leads the way for Boiling Springs. And that defense for Mark Hodge over at Spartanburg, boy, they have been nasty ever since that Dutch Fork game. They haven't given up more than a score in the last 3 ball games in which they have really just shoved and bullied everybody that they've played. This could be a hard-nosed, hard-hitting game against some two big programs. I think Spartanburg comes out on top. I like their defense a little bit better. And Rob, what I really like about the Spartanburg team, their best win of the year was being South Point in week 0. And that's a really, really good and talented South Point team. And that's a big win in my book for me. I think Spartanburg edges this one out, and they could challenge Gaffney for this region title if they can win tonight.
Yeah, I was going to ask, tell me what the impact of this game is in the region, because every now and then, and I don't know if this one is or is not, John, but sometimes games like this become de facto playoff games, right? Like if you get bounced in this game, all of a sudden the climb into at least the regional championship position becomes insurmountable. How much rides on Spartanburg at Boiling Springs tonight for both teams?
Well, I think they'll both get into the playoffs, whether they win or lose tonight, which is a good thing. We call this region 2. Really, it's like a conference. There's 8 schools in this region, and with 5A this year, some schools will go to the Division I playoff. Some schools will go to the Division II playoff. So there's a little bit more room for these schools to get in. However, a win tonight really does a lot for you to guarantee a home playoff game in round one. And that's a really, really big deal. So that's for that reason right there, that's a big deal. And then also for the pride of the region to have that online. Boiling Springs has to win this game to have a chance to win the region. Gaffney, they could still control their own destiny probably with the loss here, but could really be in a good shape if they could win and go 3-0 in the region tonight.
Real quick, and then I want to get to Woodruff Mountain View and Burns East Side coming up here in a minute. But, John, can you kind of explain to us, and Kev, I don't know if you want to make a run at this one as well. You're more than welcome to. I know you guys brought it up last week, but this concept that we've got a region, but at the end they're going to be split and go in two different directions and all that. Like, as eloquently as I can come up with this, why?
It's for the school enrollment size. So,
but why do we have them all grouped in it? Why not just have divisions?
That's a great question. Just make a 6A. I completely agree with you, Rob, because I think there's some schools in Division 2 that could beat some schools in Division 1. And I think you make 5A just one classification, I think we would have an awesome postseason. But with it split, it does take away a little bit. But the reasoning is because in enrollment, there's a very large disparity between the top of 5A and the bottom of 5A.
So we'll have you guys play regular season games, but not the playoffs. That would be – oh, okay. All right. Makes sense.
I agree.
Kev, Woodruff's at Mountain View tonight. Run this one down for me.
This is a game that I think is for the region title. It's the first region game for Woodruff, the second for Mountain View Prep, but I think these are the clearly best two teams in that region. Woodruff, a kind of an upstart group this year, had a 4-7 season last year. They're off to a 5-0 start. What worries me about this week for them, Rob, is they have not played in 28 days. They had the time off for the hurricane and had a bye week last week. So really worries you about how sharp they're going to be. Love the quarterback, TJ Morris, an absolute gamer. Not going to, wow you with the physical stats, but he knows how to play football, man. He's a really good quarterback for them. Running back Aiden Gibson, he's a stud in the backfield, a really good sophomore back for them. Coach Sloan does a great job scheming up some X's and O's things for them on that side of the football. Mountain View Prep, the first-year school, head coach Gray Ramsey, another great football coach here, great football mind. They've got some names you've heard of. A quarterback, Bryson Drummond, came over from Greenville. You got Jalen McGill, the do-everything running back over from Broome. Katie Hainsworth from Dorman's over there now. They've got a lot of explosiveness. What worries me with the first-year program like that is what's their depth like and what do they have on the lines? And that's what I'm not sure about. I've not seen them in person yet this year. Looking forward to doing that tonight. I think it's going to really be maybe what team can not stop the other one, but just like make it tough for them to score, I guess. Who can play more bend but don't break? Because both these teams have big-time explosive playmakers who can maybe get one stop when they need it or get one big turnover. That could be the difference. This game is actually going to be played down at Newberry College as well, with Mountain View Prep being a new school. Don't have a stadium yet. So kind of a road game for both teams there, I reckon. But should be some really, really good pieces on display tonight down there at Newberry.
All right, Johnny Boy, last one. Burns at Eastside, a game you will hear with Cole Bryson, the voice of the Rebels, right here on the Fan Upstate. The Rebels playing the role of Road Warriors this year. They head down to Eastside after an interesting game last week for the Rebels, John, because they lose a game in double overtime in which they had 48 total yards of offense. I don't know how that happens. Like, I talked to Cole yesterday for like the better part of 45 minutes. Just trying to understand how you have 48 yards of offense in a double overtime game. And it's just the offense is having problems. Defense coming up with some big plays here and there to keep them alive. What does this game against Eastside mean for the Rebels?
Yeah, this is a big game for Burns. They're 2-4, but they're 2-1 in region play. So a win tonight, who cares about the overall record? If you can go 3-1 in region play, you're sitting in a really good spot. And I think the Rebels are playing better football. Everything you mentioned about that loss in double overtime sounds pretty bad. But, Rob, you didn't mention who it was against. That was against the Gaffney Indians, and that would have been a monumental win for the Rebels to knock off Gaffney. But Burns kind of playing Gaffney football in that game, just doing whatever it takes to be in the ball game. But It's hard to beat Gaffney at their own game. They'll find a way to win games at the end like that, those ugly, sloppy type games. But Burns, I think, is playing better football. I think Eastside, they've been a little bit of feast or famine this year. They either win pretty big or they lose by a lot. They've beat who they're supposed to beat, but they haven't beat anybody really good yet. This would be Eastside's best win if they could win tonight. I think the Rebels roll. I think, they win by probably 2 scores. I would say even more than that. I don't trust the offense over at Burns enough to say, hey, they're going to light up the scoreboard. But I do think they win. I think they win comfortably tonight. Now, it could be a comfortable 21-7 win, but I do think they win this one tonight.
Talk to me, fellas, if you don't mind, real quick. We got another minute or two here. We are talking with John Epps and Kevin Thomas from the Moving the Chains podcast, the best in the game at covering high school football across the state of South Carolina. If I asked you to describe to me the identity of this Burns Rebels football program, how would you do it?
I would say gritty. They've played some really tough football. They had that first game was a tight one against Steelhand. They lost. Then they go out and play a really, really good Irmo team, very competitive with them. And then they lose at home, or not at home, but then they lose to Greer, who they haven't lost to in a long time. Beat Dorman, low-scoring game. They give Gaffney everything they want last week. I mean, this is a really, really tough group. They've made it tough on everybody. But they're winning the games that matter. They're 2-1 in region play. They've got, I don't know exactly what their team goals are at Burns. It's typically a state championship. But you like to think they got all their goals in front of them. They are a gritty group, and if they lose the game, they're going to make you earn it.
Yeah, and I think that's a great word. Gritty, maybe even feisty will be a good one for them, because this is the program, Rob, where I thought when they lost that Greer game, I was like, this could go off the rails like really bad, and it could get out of hand there. They could have a 2-8, 1-9 type season, but they turned it around and played some good football here lately, and doing it in a different way too. I think back in the day, Burns lighting up the scoreboard every week, 40, 50, 60 points. Not doing that this year. Just don't have that talent on offense right now to do that. But they found some pieces. The run game has gotten going fairly well. Obviously not last week, but in general, they've got some things going there, like those kids in the backfield for them. Coach Shaw has them playing inspired, playing tough football. And you have to play the games on the road too. It's not an easy thing, and they've been up to the challenge so far. They're on a nice little roll here, like John said. 2-1 in the region. I think they go to 3-1 tonight. They've got a chance to make some noise down the stretch here and be a tough out for anybody.
Kevin Thomas, Jarrell Jarrell's not here, what's he got better to do than be here?
The man's probably sleeping. You never know with him.
He did literally straight up say last week that he'd rather be asleep. So, I mean, I respect the honesty, if nothing else.
I respect. Yeah, I don't hate it. I'd be
Keep it a
asleep
buck.
right now too.
Keep it a buck. No, it is John Epps. It is Kevin Thomas from the Moving the Chains pod. Again, you can find their stuff on Facebook at facebook.com/Moving Chains, no G. Same on Twitter and Instagram. The website is movingchains.com, and their podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google. And on Friday nights, they go live on X to talk about games, results, scores, statistics, and standings from around the state. Fellas, good stuff as always. Where are you guys at tonight, by the way?
Believe we're going to be at that Woodruff Mountain View prep game down at Newberry College. So going to check those guys out.
Nice. I dig it. Good night for high school football. Fellas, appreciate you as always, boys. Y'all enjoy Friday night football.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Rob. You have a good one.
You got it. John and Kevin. MovingChains.com is the website if you're a high school football fan in the upstate, across the state of South Carolina. Toss them a follow. It is worth your time. Back after this, we take a look at the college footballs.
Hold on.
I have a note right here.
Yeah.
And that note says that we have a family 4-pack of tickets to give away to tomorrow's Furman football contest. It's homecoming. Hoco, baby. Homecoming at Paladin Stadium tomorrow. And if you would like to go and experience a little Paladin football on a Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. kick, Lonzo's got 4 tickets for you right now. And we are giving them to caller number 3. Caller number 3 right now, 844-326-3663. 326-3663. Caller number 3 winning a family 4-pack of tickets to go see Furman football tomorrow. Paladin Stadium, 2 p.m. Taking on the Catamounts in a little homecoming action. Caller number 3 right now, 844-FANFONE wins those tickets. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Salvation Army.
All right, boys, I got to do a live read. I appreciate y'all. Be good.
See y'all.
What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. What is to roll with for the day. The Rob Brown Show continues rolling through the final hour of the day, final hour of the week here on the radio broadcast. Let's jump into some of the college football contests that are premiering this week as we enter week 8 of the week 8 already. It feels like we kicked off week 1 yesterday. Unbelievable. Miami's at Louisville. I'm going to tell you right now, Louisville's dangerous.
By the way,
in
really
this
quick, week 8 means we're getting closer and closer to the first 12-team playoff.
Yes, we are. What is it? Is it the end of this month, isn't it? Like 2 weeks from now? Or is it next week? When do the first rankings come out?
No, I was talking about the playoffs themselves. I'm not talking about the rankings.
Yeah.
That's in November. This is the first. It's election day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're like 2 weeks out. Louisville feels dangerous to Miami in this spot. They're coming off of a win on the road at Virginia. They did have a very close loss to both Notre Dame and SMU. They started the season 3-0, including a win over Georgia Tech when Georgia Tech was kind of riding high after that FSU upset. Miami, on the flip side, behind Cam Ward, has now had back-to-back one-score wins that came down to video replay review on the final-ish or final play of the game, and both of them were video reviews that a lot of people found very controversial. Miami could realistically be 4-2 right now. I mean, really, they went from dropping 40s and 50s on dudes' heads earlier in the year to having to get bailed out by replays in back-to-back weeks. That makes Louisville feel dangerous to me. Miami is favored by -5. I'm going to take Louisville +5 to cover in this game. But let me ask you this question. Zoe, if Miami has another game like that, where they're like bailed out by flags or replays at the end of this game, does the ACC is protecting Miami conspiracy gain some traction at that point?
Oh, without a doubt it does. But we'll see. What if they just lose?
What if they just lose?
They could just lose.
They really could. Louisville feels dangerous in this spot to me.
You got Clemson, you got Pittsburgh, you got SMU. All looking at, and Syracuse for that matter. If you look at the standings, conference standings, all looking at that going, yeah, let's go Louisville.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, speaking of Clemson, they've got Virginia coming to the house. Tony Elliott making his return once again to Death Valley, the former OC under Dabo, now the head coach at Virginia. Look, the Cavs aren't very good. Clemson favored by 21 in this game. Now, in fairness, Virginia is 4-2, but the 2 came against Maryland and again against Louisville. It's not the worst 4-2 you've ever seen, but Clemson at the house -21. Over under in this game is 57.5. I am interested in this because this does feel like a game Virginia is going to get up for on the road at Clemson. That being said, turns out Clemson kind of found a little something. I'll take the cover -21.
Is it legitimate what they've found? They continue to roll and continue to get better each week. Yeah, they're gonna take care of that.
Yeah, I think they roll this weekend. No question that one. Nebraska at Indiana. This might be my favorite. Oh, it's gonna get interesting game of the weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
Because Nebraska under Matt Rule is 5-1. Their only loss is to a top 25 team in Illinois. They knocked off Purdue. They knocked off Rutgers. They smoked Colorado. And it turns out Colorado might be better than, I thought they were coming into the year. This is a pretty good spot Nebraska finds themselves in. The question mark is, do you believe in the Hoosiers? Number 16 in the country, a perfect 6-0. That being said, they don't really have a signature win under Curt Cignetti. They got FIU, Western Illinois, UCLA, Charlotte, Maryland, and Northwestern. Not really like that win that you go, okay, they are for real. I think a win over Nebraska solidifies Indiana. So give me the Huskers. Indiana's favored by 6.5. I will take the outright upset from Nebraska. This is a Matt Rule signature edition game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the number 1 team in the Big Ten, Indiana.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
That's my dog. Kurt Cignetti's my guy. I love him. Auburn is at Mizzou. I've told you 100 times. I think Mizzou's overrated. I think Mizzou came into the year overrated. I think Mizzou State, they got hammered by A&M, and they took it out on the poor Massachusetts Minutemen last week. That being said, is Keegan in here yet? No, he's not. Okay, good. Auburn's not very good. Auburn's not. They're not. They're actually not good at all. So Mizzou's going to win this game, but it says more about Auburn's bad than Mizzou's good.
Auburn's 2-4, 0-3 in the conference.
Yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah, it's not.
They're not very good. ECU's in Army. The Knights fixing to roll again. I'm all in on service. It's Service Academy season up in here. America. Hell yeah. Give me the Service Academies to just stud out this weekend. I'll take Army in this one. Army's favored by 16 over ECU. I'll take Army to cover.
Are you going to pick Army the rest of the way, man?
Every game.
Yeah,
every game. Army takes on Georgia this weekend. Give me the Knights. Love the Knights. Wisconsin's at Northwestern. UCLA is at Rutgers. This is the rest of your noon slot. By the way, South Carolina is at Oklahoma. This one is at noon. Lonzo, I want you to take your fandom out the best you're capable of doing, which is not very good. But take your fan cap off the best you can. Set the line on this game. What's the line? What's the spread on this game?
That was hurtful.
You say that all the time.
Yeah, no, I do. You're right. You're right. I'm the voice of the people, the voice of the fan.
Spread in this game.
Well, South Carolina has not picked to win, obviously. I'm going to say because I don't understand how it works. So it would be minus 14, or is it plus 4?
If you think Oklahoma, you think Oklahoma by 2 touchdowns is the spread?
Yes.
Oklahoma's a 1.5 point favorite.
Really? That's is that respect for South Carolina, or is that they're trying to manipulate the betting?
I don't think it is. I mean, even if they were, if you were if this is a spot where you are begging people to put the money on the Gamecocks, you still have a higher number than 1.5. This is interesting because you guys know how much I lean on Vegas, right? Like I look at the Vegas lines, and again, Vegas does 2 things. Their initial line is to try to get as close to what the final is going to be. To give you the example, last night's game between the Saints and the Broncos, the over-under, Lonzo, was 42.5 points. I took the under. You know what it ended on? 43. They're real good at this, okay? Like, they're real good at this. They've got the over-under in this game at 41.5, which makes sense. Oklahoma leans on the defense, right? Like, their offense is very middle of the road. They lean on the defense, which means they're going to try to give Lenora Sellers everything they got. The problem is, and Quinn Ewers proved this, if you can get your quarterback outside of the pocket against Oklahoma, they can have success running the football. We saw Quinn do it. We've seen other quarterbacks do it. If you can get your quarterback outside of the tackle box, that's what Nico did for Tennessee. That's what Quinn Ewers did for Texas. Get him outside of the tackle box. You can have some success. Lonzo, is there another quarterback in the SEC outside of Nico that you think, if he reaches his potential, would be better at that than Lenora Sellers? Because I don't know if there is.
No, I am so looking forward to what he's going to be if he continues on this trajectory.
And I've told you, I am concerned about the trajectory of Lenora Sellers, the passer. Because Lenora Seller, the passer, has been, again, middle of the pack. It's when you roll him out left and right and you make him a dual threat that he becomes dangerous. You have to against Oklahoma, and clearly Vegas has some respect for that. I am stunned that Oklahoma's favorite. At home, by the way. At home. And in the NFL, at home's like a 2.5 pointer, right? If you're at home, 2.5 points to you. In college, it's usually closer to like 7.5. This line blows my mind. In fact, I'm going to go, that's the ESPN bet line. Let me go look at the line on BetMGM. At this point, it's like, it's my only focus is what is the line on this game. They have ESPN bet has them at 1.5. BetMGM has them at 1.5. South Carolina plus 1.5. And by the way, that's an even money split at plus 110. Ordinarily, if they're trying to do that because they're trying to level out the number, like they got all the money coming on one side, they level it out. Ordinarily, one of the things they do is instead of toying with the number, they'll toy with the odds. So you jump on and you look, and instead of like that number going up or down, instead of say South Carolina plus 1.5 at minus 110, it'd be South Carolina plus 1.5 at like plus 120, right? They take a little juice away from you there. That number, does that number shock you? That number shocks me a little bit.
It does. It's got to be Alabama respect. Has to be.
Gotta be. Speaking of Alabama, they are at Tennessee this weekend, favored by 3. Give me the Volunteers. Give me Nico. Yeah, I think some people are buying into to that loss to Arkansas. Look, that was Arkansas Super Bowl. That's what they had left. Give me Tennessee to get the outright upset at plus 3 at the crib against Alabama. Notre Dame, Georgia Tech at 3:30. Michigan at Illinois is a top 25 game because football. We'll talk some more of those games. Take a look at the NFL and more to wrap up the show next. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
Wow, that 1.5. That is.
Minus 1.5? Yeah. That's genuinely shocking to me. Like, genuinely shocking to me. The Knights, baby. All right, guys, give me 45 seconds. I will be right back.
That's difficulty also. I think it's time to go see an orthopedist. I'm just dreading having a knee replacement because I'm afraid that's where it's going. It's good to know they have gymnastics, Keegan. I mean, that's something. I don't know. Did you address Mac? He doesn't broadcast. He's on the floor. He's on the ice.
Yeah, I'm the in-arena host, Max. So I walk around with a microphone and I'm talking. I'm in the crowd, so you'll see me walking around the concourse and up in the stands. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bang you up there on the Auburn Los Tigres there, Keegan. That's my bad, but also required of me. If it makes you feel better, and you know this because we watched the game together last night, I also spent 45 minutes dunking on the Saints, like roasting.
All right, send me the email back yelling at me, Roy. Lights out, by the way. 2 days in a row.
Well,
Oh, that's right. He said they were, dude. Time to hit that hustle. Get on out.
I'm cutting a few promos and Daddy's going to work from home.
I got the majority of my work done yesterday. I just didn't put it in the system, so I got a couple things to do. Plus the podcast will take me the longest of anything. Because something sucks. Been critical of corporate too much lately on the air. Probably don't want to do that. Still, the microphone button is dumb. I don't care. Tell me what it is. Don't nobody know what that is. Well, test marketed well. We don't know why it didn't do good. Maybe because you didn't say what it was.
All right, a couple more big college games to run through before we flip to the NFL schedule on the weekend. And obviously none bigger this weekend than Texas and Georgia. Texas, a 5-point favorite against the Dogs. Here's the thing for me. I don't trust Carson Beck. I didn't come in. I said this on the show many times. I didn't see coming into the year. Carson Beck was being labeled like, oh, there's your number 1 overall draft pick next year. That's the guy. I don't see it. I don't get it. And I go back to the Alabama game. In the first half, all Alabama did to take Carson Beck out of the game was throw a couple of disguised coverages at him, and he just didn't know what to do. He was missing shots. He was missing guys. It wasn't until the second half that Carson Beck really broke open. Now, there's 2 possibilities. One of those possibilities, sure, is that Carson Beck settled in at the halftime break and was able to refocus and get back on the horse. But I think more likely what happened is that the offensive coaching staff said, all right, here's what Bama's doing, and here's what we're going to adjust because Carson stinks right now, and here's what we're going to do to try to fix it. And the strategery came around and broke Carson Beck out of the funk. Texas's defense is just better than Georgia's right now. This is a team that defensively is ranked number 1 in the country. This is a team that is allowing, even if you only played FCS games, this is impressive. Lonzo, this is a team that is allowing 6.7 points per game, less than a touchdown per game defensively. And they do have number 10 Michigan is a team that they have played. They have played Mississippi State. They have played a top 10 Oklahoma team, and yet are giving away less than 7 points a game by game. I really want to pick Georgia here. I really want to say Kirby Smart understands that Georgia's running out of breathing room at this point with the rest of the SEC, considering they've eaten the L already, and considering that L went to a team that turned around and lost to Vanderbilt the next weekend. I want to pick Kirby Smart. I want to pick Georgia in this game. Every single number says Texas wins. Offensively, every single number is better for Texas. Defensively, every single number is better for Texas. I'm stuck on this one. I think I got to go Texas, man. If Georgia wins this game, I'm going to come in here Monday and go, see, I told you, even though I made the pick the opposite way. I think Georgia can win the game, but literally, I'm a numbers guy. Every single number is better for Texas. Every one of them.
Would your pick be swayed if Georgia was coming into this undefeated?
Depends on how that Alabama
because I think I would still pick Texas even if Georgia was undefeated.
You might be right, honestly. I mean, just every single number is better for Texas. They perform statistically, metrically. They just freaking perform, and I mean that's just all there is to it. They just perform. All right, let's take a look at the NFL slate for the weekend as the professionals get fired up on Sunday. We do, of course, open it up at 9:30 a.m. The Pats at the Jags, live from Wembley Stadium over in London, England. Jacksonville favored by 6, which says more about how bad New England is than how good Jacksonville is. So I'm going to take New England in the upset here. I'm going to take Drake May on the road, away from all the distraction of the American media and all that. And the kid played really well in his debut last weekend. Jacksonville can't catch the football. It's hard to win when you can. I can't stand the Patriots. No, scratch that. Not that I can't stand the Patriots. I just don't think they're very good. I took under 4.5 wins for the New England Patriots. If they get this, I'm in a little bit of trouble here for that over-under bet, but I think New England wins in an upset.
All right, I'm just guessing here, and you might know Jacksonville played in London last week, so
They did.
So I don't think they came back home.
They did not.
And I think that gives them the advantage, and that's why I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
That's fair. That's very fair reasoning. Seattle is at Atlanta. This one's a big one over at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Kirk Cousins says, "Yo, walk into your trap, protect your trap." Atlanta's bringing out my favorite version of Kirk Cousins, which is like dad who refuses to stop trying. I love him. I'm all in. I can't stand the Atlanta Falcons. I love me some Kirk Cousins. Atlanta favored by 3 at the crib, and I'm going to carry him to the cover.
Wow, Kirk finally won you over.
No, Kirk's won. No, I love Kirk. I've loved Kirk. I've been a Costco bro with Kirk since his Minnesota Vikings days. That doesn't stop me from having to be honest about the fact that he's 40 plus years old, but I've been a Kirk stan for a hot minute. I just hate Atlanta. There's a difference.
Yeah, I think Atlanta wins this game.
Tennessee is at Buffalo. Buffalo got a receiver. Give me the Bills to cover. No, by the way, they're 9-point favorites.
Wow.
Still take the cover.
Yeah,
Tennessee's trash.
Yeah, they're going to look amazing against Tennessee. That doesn't really mean anything.
Hey,
now.
You got to start somewhere, man. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Amari Cooper is that single step. Cincinnati is at Cleveland. Lulz. The Bengals are only 5.5-point favorites. That means they're 8 points better than Cleveland, but they're at the crib. Cleveland, this may shock you, doesn't have Amari Cooper. Not that it mattered. Couldn't get him the football. They refused to. By the way, the story right now going around, this is my favorite. I saw this one yesterday. The story amongst the beat reporters in Cleveland is that Kevin Stefanski wants to sit down to Sean and go to Jameis, but the ownership has straight up said, no, we paid too much. He's playing this game. Cleveland's going to get hammered by the Bengals this weekend.
There's a lot of frustration pent up over there with the Bengals and how they have only won one game.
Yep.
And that's just, they're better than that.
Yep.
So yeah, they're going to score touchdowns right and left.
I have said, by the way, they won 2. They beat the Giants last week. I forgot about the late night game. I have said, I think the less you see Joe Burrow flexing that wrist, the better the Bengals are going to be. That's
Although
all it comes down to
I
me.
did see that that he's like on questionable list or something because of the wrist.
Oh, he's going to be on it every week. They're going to keep him on there just for the sake of keeping him covered up. Houston is at Green Bay. Green Bay favored by 2.5. Said it before, said it again. I'm not a Packers believer. Give me the Texans on the road.
Yeah, I was seeing some other people picking on TV. They're all going Green Bay.
Yeah.
I got to go with Justin Fields.
Nico's my
It's not Justin Fields. I know. I caught myself. I'm going with Houston. I'm sorry.
Show's almost over, kids.
Sorry.
Show's
No,
almost
yeah,
over.
well, yeah, I'm almost over.
Miami is at Indianapolis. I'm going with.
Sorry, CJ. I'm sorry.
We know.
Okay.
We know. It's okay. I'm going with somewhere else to watch this game. Miami and Indy's going to be.
Why
Give me
watch,
Indy at the crib.
Why watch the game?
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Indy. Yeah, you're right.
Detroit's at Minnesota. Best game of the weekend. Minnesota favored by 1.5 at the house. I don't know who wins this game. I don't care who wins this game. The only thing I know about this game is that I am furious that they are playing this game at 1:00 and your night game is Jets Steelers. And we got this game on tap and you're going Jets Steelers? Detroit at Minnesota. I'm not picking the team, Lonzo. I'm picking that as game of the week that I just want to watch as a fan who loves football.
Yeah, I'm going Detroit there. Minnesota and Kansas City are
Ooh.
probably not going to remain undefeated for the entire season.
And you think this is a spot for the Kings, huh?
I mean, it's a chance for Detroit to prove that they're back on track.
Sam Darnold putting the king in Vikings. I can't wait for this. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be a fun game. Philly is at the Giants. I'm taking a nap. Vegas is at the Rams. Give me the Rams plus or minus $1 million. God, the Raiders are going to implode, and it's funnish to watch. Washington favored by 8 over Carolina's Jaden Daniels throws for 4 touchdowns in this game, Lonzo.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if there was an upset, just because there shouldn't be. No. I mean, that would be a true upset. I just say I'm not calling for. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. Obviously, it would shock you.
Shock. It's all I'd talk about on Monday. It would be a 4-hour Panther show if they beat Jaden Daniels this weekend. Kansas City, San Francisco Super Bowl rematch at 425.
San Francisco back on the winning track now.
They're -2. They're favored in this game.
Yeah,
it is in San Francisco.
I will say that's disrespectful, and also they have no Christian McCaffrey. Is
Jordan Mason back? I haven't seen that.
Whoever has the ball last. Hopefully it's Kansas City. I'm still going to go with the Chiefs.
Let's see. If Jordan Mason's out on the shelf, then I'll go with the Chiefs. If they're not, toss-up game for me. Jets, Pittsburgh at the end of the night. By the way, Russell Wilson getting the start.
Yeah.
It's his first game in 2 years.
Jets, Jets.
Such a hater. And then we'll talk about the doubleheader on Monday night. Ravens at Bucks, Chargers at Cardinals on Monday night when we get there.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
It's a magical sound. That means we made it.
Yay!
We have made it.
We did it, everybody.
Yeah, we've made it through Friday. All right, and through the entire week. Friday was great, but the entire week really wasn't that bad. It just took forever. All right, the first thing that's Xing is Hulu.
Hulu Xing. Something's dropping today.
No. Hulu is Xing. Speaking of dropping, they dropped the broadcast during the baseball game.
They dropped the broadcast?
No, it just stopped the extra innings.
Yeah.
Didn't happen because it just
that Cleveland game?
Yeah, a lot of people pretty angry.
Holy
a lot of people pretty angry about that. Yeah.
Dude. So if you didn't hear, Guardians, bottom of the 9th, down 2, hit a 2-run homer to tie it up. They turn around bottom of the 10th, 2 hit a 2-run homer to take that game away. It was one. I was talking to Snowman in the hall. Y'all, there were 5 of us at Hall of Fame. We weren't talking to each other locked into that broadcast. That game was incredible. And you're telling me if you were watching on Hulu, you just.
Yeah, I think it was, they're saying technical difficulties.
Oh, I would be furious.
Yeah, and it was like right at the end of the game. Okay, the next thing that's Xing is. I want to make sure I get to this, so I'm just going to do this second. Fursuit Friday.
So anyway, moving on. Listen, I am down to let people do their thing, let people do what they want to do, how they want to do it, except furries. Y'all got to stop.
Okay.
Y'all got to stop.
I mean, for those of you out there who celebrate it, it's Fursuit Friday. All right, the next thing that's Xing is Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard going to be out indefinitely for the beginning of the season with it. Kawhi's. Listen, I've said 100 times, I'm not a dude who tells other people how to do it, when to do it, why to do it. Kawhi might want to consider wrapping it up. His knees and Tua's head have got to be the 2 most fragile things in sports right now.
And finally, because we love bookends here on the Rob Brown Show, Sean Payton is Xing.
Y'all have a good weekend. I'll see y'all later.
Stop hitting the microphone.
How do you have Sean Payton coming back, Drew Brees going into your Hall of Fame and Ring of Honor, and turning that performance? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. How ridiculous was it, Rob? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm actually going to end the show with a very brief bit of audio.
Yeah, it needs to be very brief if you can find it.
Never mind, can't find it. Richard Sherman was dunking on New Orleans at halftime last night. He's like, this team they're not even trying. He actually straight up accused them of wanting to get Dennis Allen fired. That's how poor they played last night.
Do you have a problem with that? I mean,
no, I do too.
I was going to say, it's kind of what you want, isn't it?
Yeah. That guy's bad at his job. He's just bad at his job. It just is what it is. Hey, that's it for us. Y'all have a wonderful football weekend. Enjoy it. Don't drink and drive. I will punch you in the face. Greenville Swamp Rabbits open up the season tonight, Bon Secours Wellness Arena. When we come back on Monday, we'll run you through the football weekend that was. We'll get you set up for a little Monday night doubleheader and more. I hope you have a spectacular weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday for the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later.
I really don't give a
right, guys. I'm going to jet because I would like to go to finish my work and go home. That's the only reason.
Sorry if you're at work and you've got a full day in front of you,
Yes.
but we've already done our full day.
Yes.
So
Sorry, but I've also been here since 4:45 this morning, so I'm not that sorry. So anyway, thanks for being here. You're all amazing people. We love you. Thank you. Tell your friends about us. Help us grow the show. Bet for the Psycho tomorrow, noon to 4. Upstate Pulse tomorrow, 7 to 9 on WORD. The Rob Brown Show Monday. Goodbye.